Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
It's not a... Oh, wrong show. It is a mirage today. Nope, no Jeranism show. That is tomorrow. Today we've got an interview, part 2, with Lindsay from Tomb of El-lumination. That is El-lumination. Check out the screen so you know how to spell it right if you're searching for him on YouTube. Otherwise, you will not find him, just like most flat earthers. They are hidden in the algorithm. You can either get a hold of Dave Weiss's app, the Flat Earth Sun Moon Zodiac Clock app, in which point you can look up videos there and at least not get censored. It is July the 11th. We are going to be doing a short presentation of the Flat Earth model that includes a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So let's have some fun with that. Let's real quick do the 2 sponsors of the show. First, we got jjcbdrub.com. He's probably in the chat. JJ Hempcrete Bear. He does his own no-till gardening back to Eden method there at his home in Wisconsin. And you can get some of this JJCBD rub if you've got any ailments, back aches, shoulder aches, knee aches. Your wife's a pain in the butt. Hey, it works for everything. There's JJ in the weeds there. And go to jjscbdrub.com. Also, we got THC Show. It's hard to say. THC Show.live. Go there. Go shop THC merchandise, and you can get some cool stuff from Mike. You can get the LED hats and backpacks and all that fun stuff. How about a hoodie that says it's flat like your mom? You know, you can get that as well. Use coupon code Jeran 420 Jeran 420. Get 10% off today, which is great. Now let's go over to find my guest if we can here. Let's see. He's there, I believe. He was there, and he's not there now. Oops. You're there. Good. All right. Well, we kind of screwed that up. Anyway, we will get him on this screen in 1 second. But go ahead and say hello to everybody. Welcome back, Lindsay.
Good afternoon from New Zealand, from your future. Good evening to you.
Yeah, he's already Friday.
A lovely day here on Friday.
Very confusing to make arrangements with you, and you're like, Friday at 2? No, Thursday. Friday? Okay, I get what you're saying. Yes, Friday at 2.
Friday for me?
Yes, it is. You are in the future, and people say that the time travel is not possible. But look, you just proved that wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let me get you on here, and that should be good. And we'll move you this way. All right. So go ahead and, I guess, so what happened last week, if you guys are not, it was 2 weeks ago at this point, is that YouTube shut down my stream for some reason. And then we were still on Rockfin, but we'd kind of gone for a long time. So we just said, let's do it again. And some people thought it was kind of all over the place. Some people seemed to understand. I did do a poll. Oh, nobody can see you. 1 second. Let me get this on there. I did do a poll to see how many people understand your model as currently, and I believe the last time I saw it was 70% no, 20% yes. I mean 30% yes. But let me just put you behind that wall there. There we go. You should be good there. I hope that should be good. All right, that's good enough. There we go. Now you're on the screen. Let me check the poll results right now. We are at 73% no, 27% yes. So hopefully you'll explain it in a little simpler way. And then what we can do is towards the end, if people start having questions, you can either send those into super chats or just tag me. And when we get to the end of the show, we will get your questions answered. All right, Lindsay, we are ready to go.
Okay, that's far away. Well, first we have to understand the shape of it. If we could look down on the Earth. So it's obviously round, and we all know that. But you've got to understand the 2 hemispheres. And how it's a toroidal field, so it expands out from the center. It's larger as we move in latitude. But the thing is, people have to realize nothing's actually physical. Everything expands as we go south. The human body, the aeroplane, anything. Because nothing is actually physical in this realm. It's of the light. It's all a conscious state anyway. But everything expands as you fly south. Okay? So
is that line there, just so people kind of get it, is that line there the equator? The middle line?
This big gap is the tropical gap.
Okay.
And so if you take your arcs of longitude, the distance between each arcs of longitude traveled is the same time. So even though you see on the Gleason map that it's coming out, expanding outward, you can revert back to the Mercator map, who has everything parallel, because time over distance traveled is the same. That's what people can't grasp. So they're always talking about airplane flights in the south, blah, 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 or as opposed to the north, blah, blah. But it's all equal between the arcs of longitude. If you stick to the one latitude, if you're flying around the one latitude, it's the same. If you flew 40 degrees south on one latitude and flew 60 degrees latitude within the same arc of longitude, it's the same time.
Okay. So on the globe, they would say that as you're closer to the North Pole, those distance between the longitudes are smaller, and then they get to the largest at the equator. You're saying it's the same thing on your model? Does that same thing, but then goes reverse to the south?
Yeah, it's just the way they word things.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you could say we're all expanding with it, or we're all shrinking with it. So
okay.
But that's the guts of it. So one big question I've had is, how does the sun work? So people need to understand the sun for a starter. So in this tropical gap here, it's the dielectric zone between the two magnetic fields of the north and the south. So we have let's back up a bit. What you've got to realize is that the Arctics are the same. They're both north poles. And this is where we can catch them out, because I've put up this challenge. If anybody can prove to me that the dip compass does not dip at the Arctic and the Antarctic, they'll get 10,000. If they do the experiment with me, challenge me, they'll have to pay me 10 grand when they find that it dips at both Arctics.
You're saying the same side of the needle dips at both Arctics?
Yes. If you took a northern hemisphere compass and took to the south, it would dip at the Antarctic as well as the Arctic. The South Pole is either side of the tropics. So understanding capacitance, you have your two positive plates, and electromagnetism build up on the capacitor plates, which is either side of the tropics. They're both south poles. They're both opposing each other. That's where all the energy is being created between the two capacitor plates, the two tropical zones. So you've got the magnetic field coming around from the south and the magnetic field coming out of the north, meeting where the sun is. Hang that one up. It won't hang up, sorry. Can you hang that up? Oh, never mind. I'll just have to answer it. So realize all around here is the North Pole. Right in the center is the North Pole. All around Cancer and Capricorn are South Poles. That's where your compass, the dip compass, will actually point up. And the science knows that the magnetic field of Earth is weak at the equator, strongest at the poles. They won't tell you that the dip compass dips at both poles. And you get online, they'll only mention one and then divert you away so you don't carry on. This is one of the earliest things I discovered in my flat earth research. Is I knew those two Arctics were the same, yet I couldn't go online and find. I asked the right question. They wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't give me a specific answer that the dip compass dipped there and there. It took years. I finally found it, but I think it was a Chinese site.
Okay, so trying to make sure I'm getting this. So you're saying if we take a compass, we go to the North Pole, let's say it's the red needle, which is pointing to the north, and it's going to dip at the North Pole. And then as we walk towards the tropics, you're saying at the tropics, the other end of the needle would dip at the tropics.
You take compass. No, the same north end. You've dipped at the Arctic. You take to the tropics, it'll point up.
Right.
Because points down to where the magnetic field is coming from, and then it'll point up at the tropics where the field is coming down. Because the magnetic field of both hemispheres drops down at each tropical zone, Cancer and Capricorn, to pass down through the Earth and go along the Earth, then pop up at their opposite Arctics. There's 120 degrees avoidance.
Okay, we got somebody a couple things in the chat. First, Joan just wanted to point out she wants you to describe the model simply first. but we'll get back to that. Then we've got Truth Lab wants to know, how do you know this? Where did you learn this? How many hours have you invested in this field? But I guess what he's asking is, how do you say you found this out when you started looking into flat Earth? So how did you find out about the compass?
It was just common sense when you look at the makeup of the Arctics, both Arctics, and you understand a little bit of physics, like a weak force, strong force.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Antarctic and the Arctic, what's the difference? It's only one's weaker than the other. It's the same thing. And maybe I just came across the fact that somewhere it did say the compass dipped at both poles. I can't remember now, but I tried finding it for years, and
okay.
You can find it if you look hard enough, but they hide that because they know that the premise of a magnetic cycle or a magnetic field is an in-field and an outfield. So you take a ring magnet, you've got the infield and you've got the other side coming out. So it one's north, one's south. So they know that. So they put that on their spinning ball, telling you it comes out of the south and goes into the north. When all along they're lying. They come out of both Arctics and head towards they shoot towards the tropical zones, and you can even see it in the meteorology and the in the field. The winds go to the tropics like this, the sides of the tropics, and then veer off to the west. So it works just like two magnets like this. So the two south poles will not touch. So they come up over the Earth, they can't meet, so they shoot straight down to the Earth to race over to their opposing fields because they're forever seeking equilibrium because of the weak force and strong force. Centre North Arctic is the strong force. The Antarctic all around there is the weak force because it's widely distributed. So in nature, everything wants to seek a resting state. It's just like all the gaseous layers of the atmosphere. You release it. This is why we have hydrogen balloons, don't we? Because they go up the furthest. Things like that. But anyway, that's the guts of it. So,
well, that's a good one because that can be tested. I love things that we can test because there's one. One theory tells us that the compass would dip opposite in the north than the south. You're saying it would dip the same north and south. So that's very easy to determine. Okay.
And it's even online. You just go and ask the right questions. I think I read it out last time I was on.
Kyle Gray says, only one question at a time. Explain the model simply. And thank you, Clip Routes.
Well, it depends on what they want me to describe it. So,
well, I guess let's say that you have a class of third graders here, and first time we've heard this, we're just, we basically don't know what we're talking about. So I guess, can you describe it for 5 or 10 minutes like we're third graders?
Oh, I gotta try to. It's a toroidal field. Everyone knows what a toroidal field is?
Okay, that's a good start.
Most scientists know we're inside that on the horizontal plane.
Mm-hmm.
But we can do away with the bottom part of the toroidal field because that's the basis of creation. Those are the two forces of nature coming together and bang, creating this inertial plane. When they came at bang and found equilibrium. Because in our physical world, nothing actually, things find rest, but rest is the black hole. So all life is created through the friction of not finding rest. So that's where a flat plane of Earth comes from. The two forces of nature came together, bang, created rest. And that's why the flat plane of Earth is fixed and stationary, as the good book says.
So you're talking about this as a toroidal field just so people can see, right? Is that correct? Is this a toroidal field? And then you're saying that there's the block domain wall that's here, and then that's the plane of inertia where we live?
Yeah, straight to the middle.
Okay.
That's the initial creation of the flat plane of Earth. The two fields coming together, boom. And now we are living in the friction, so we're on top of the plane now, so we break it down like a magnet. So we just concentrate on the top half now, and you come up with the magnetic flux, which is on my other screen. So you can probably keep the top of the toroidal field, but there's a split. And this world's, it's become a split cell. So it's split by the tropical zone. Whether I need the other screen or not, I'm not sure. So you've got a, okay, let's go back a bit. So we go back to that initial point where the two fields came together to create the plane. And right there is center Arctic, right? Above the plane is center Arctic. And that's where the vortex of creation is that creates our realm. So, and it creates this inverted realm that we're all in. Ken Wheeler explains this quite well.
Okay.
But anyway, it becomes a dual system. So you have the field come out of the Arctic to the Tropic of Cancer. The field goes along the ground, then up at the Antarctic, comes back over to the Tropic of Capricorn, down to the ground, and crosses over again. That's the infinity symbol you've seen. Been around for thousands of years, if not millions. The magnetic field's doing this. It's also doing it on a curved linear type across the plane in the shape of a plowshare. So that's our toroidal wave. That's the ether. They call it dark energy, black energy, because they know it all came out of the black hole. Right? All that energy comes out of that center Arctic black hole. And it's forever coming out. And so that's the magnetic field. So in the beginning, in the Bible, it mentions that the sun was created, the first sun. That's the initial one, the one in the center. And then later on, the sun and the moon and all that came later, because back at that center of creation, the vortex. Well, we haven't got the vortex yet. We've got the plane. We've got a plane. It's flipping hard to explain. That's why I did so many videos. The center of the toroidal field is a vortex. But it started with the flat plane. The flat plane with the sun in the center. That was instantly, when that was created through the friction and the sound, the right frequency that this whirlwind created, it hit the right note and illuminated the sun, the star. And that sets off the whole 3D depth below it, which is a negative image. I put something on a post recently. The science just mentioned it in their physics, how there's a positive field up there and there's this negative force going on, and it's slower. And that's basically what it is. So you got the 2D plane where the actual sun is doing a small circle around the black hole. And as it's doing that small circle, it's the moon is doing this S curve.
So there's a black hole at the North Pole of the Earth. There's a black hole?
Yeah. But it's not like they describe it. You've got to just forget all that bullshit.
I'm forgetting all about that. But is it a physical thing that we would be able to see if we went there?
No, you can't. You can't get into that vortex.
Okay.
It's like trying to get back in their mother's womb. We've come out of creation. You can't get back in.
Okay.
But we're not totally detached, because we've got the Milky Way that comes from our realm back over into creation. And this is the whole story, the meaning to life. We're not attached from creation. We have to go back, find our way back. And you have a lot of people go through near-death experiences and see the light and go towards the light. Well, they're going through the Milky Way. They're going through the tunnel. That's the Milky Way. So I've drawn it if they see it. You've got the real sun, and the Milky Way comes over to the center of the tropics. And that's where we see the image of our sun. But there's more to that. And right there, between the two, Capricorn and Cancer, are the capacitor plates creating the energy, because a moving the current creates the changing magnetic field. The magnetic field comes from the south out of the north, and they change and cross over. The changing magnetic field creates the sun, and the sun creates the changing magnetic field. It's in physics, so if you look into it, you'll understand it. So the sun is only created as it moves around. And as it's moving around, the magnetic field is coming in and creating the capacitance between the tropics, illuminating the sun. And because the sun, the image of the sun, but the true sun is on the knee joint of the Milky Way as it pops into the center Arctic, and it's aiming out across the hole like that up there. You see that? Oh, yeah. There's the black hole. There's the sun. Milky Way is over here, coming over to where we see the sun. But the real unseen plasma sun is created back there, and this magnetic induction through capacitance here is feeding through the Milky Way, feeds the energy, sucks it up like a vacuum, sucks it over into the real sun, feeding the real sun, which then sends back an image for us to see. It's like TV or radio picking up your radio waves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get that? Because otherwise,
yeah. I mean, it's a little bit too much, but so just want to make sure I understand. You're saying that the sun, which is in the center doing a small circle, then projects itself out variably throughout the year. Sometimes the people in the south would see it above their heads. Sometimes the people
we haven't got to that yet.
Okay, go ahead.
But just understanding how they create the sun, how the sun is created. It's through cold fusion. They're doing the same sort of thing with the nuclear fusion, but they're smashing things together instead of expanding that water molecule. So this cold fusion is being created through electromagnetic induction between the two fields as they shoot down towards the Earth. You know, look up in physics, the two parallel magnetic fields, they're going down, and up to the center is coming the hydrogen molecule that's getting shredded, and that water is illuminating, sort of highlighting the sun that we see in the center there. But it's electrical, it's the current being created between the two capacitor plates. And that energy being created in the tropics is getting fed through the Milky Way to feed the actual real plasma sun. So all the images of the sun out here are all thanks to the real plasma sun back at the center. Because the sun at the center follows the flexing of the ecliptic plane, and it flexes down. It's round. Sitting at the top of the vortex, it's round, and it flexes like up and down like this. As the ecliptic plane flexes, the sun will be seen on that flexing. That says flex down and out. That's just southern hemisphere summer. As it's slowly coming back up, the sun's going around every day, but this is slowly coming up. The sun is winding back up to the middle. It winds back out to the south, winds back up to the middle.
So why do you think it is when we have somebody like a Crow 777 or somebody else who has a hydrogen alpha telescope, when they're looking at the sun, what is it that they're seeing?
They're seeing an image in the electromagnetic spectrum, the light spectrum, is an image. It's the focal point, because that's the focal point of the energy right at the end of the Milky Way.
Okay.
So if you could blank out the light, you'll see, if you could, you can't, I don't think, you'll see the Milky Way coming over to the sun. But we can't, just can't. So it's just the projection of the actual sun back in creation, sending the image back, just like we get an image on our TV. Watching TV in your lounge, it's nothing in behind the TV, as it's coming from over there, out there somewhere. They send it back. Same thing. So we're sent this image, and like it says in the book, all the celestial bodies are there for signs.
So like this picture here is what a hydrogen alpha shows us is the sun. So you're saying this is just some sort of a projected image of the plasma sun. Is that right?
Well, I don't know if they've dodged up that photo or what. I mean, the sun we see is just pure white light. I don't know where they get those stupid images from.
Yeah, they use a hydrogen alpha telescope, and I don't know much about it other than to look through a telescope and see this is pretty crazy. It kind of gives you an idea that this is more of a something that's there.
It's fakery. I'm pretty sure of it.
Well, I mean, you'd have to call what the work that Crow does, fake. I don't know if I'd go there, but I do agree that I was shocked when I saw it as well.
He does his own photos, does he?
Yeah, he just got a new telescope, a hydrogen alpha telescope.
Well, it all depends on your filters, doesn't it?
The hydrogen alpha is the filter, I guess. That's the type of telescope it is. But I'll look into that a little bit more to see if we can get to the bottom of what they're seeing.
But overall, everything adds up, and it all makes sense if you can put all the pieces together. And a lot of the pieces are all in physics. You just take the pieces and draw the proper picture over here, not the little bullshit one they put in their little square, and you've got to stay confined over there. And if you think outside that little box, you're the idiot. When it's out there, all the pieces are there.
So just so you know what it is, I just had to look it up. It's a H alpha, hydrogen alpha, is the red end of the visible solar spectrum, 656 nanometers. By using this specially made combination of a small telescope and interference filter, we're able to see and image the solar prominences, filaments, plagues, and occasionally flares on the sun that otherwise remain invisible. So just letting you know. Okay.
Well, you might be able to see the flares. It's all coming from the Milky Way, where the real sun is. And so you don't actually get heat from the sun. It's just where the sun is, where it moves around in the tropical gap, is where where the energy is being created. So depending on where the sun is at your particular time of the day and where you are on Earth. So that's that, and then you've got to consider the magnetic flux of the Earth, how it pumps up and down in a vortex system, just like the human heart does. The human heart is a vortex. So if someone wants to know how the Earth pumps up and down, we'll go and ask someone who knows how the heart pumps up and down. Is there a switch on the wall? No. It's just this vortex system that just pumps. So they can look into that. I haven't gone too deep with that. But it all boils down to the central vortex of creation. The S curve that comes out of the vortex of creation creates the curving magnetic field. There's a 3D imaging of that online somewhere I just saw the other day. It spirals out like that and creates the toroidal field. The human heart is a vortex. How does the heart pump? How do the tides pump? It's all via this vortex system. So that's basically the Earth, isn't it? Inside the toroidal field, but it's a split cell with a tropical gap split. And then you go back and check out, hey, who's this guy? Victor Berger, or what his name was.
Schauberger, yeah.
He's got the exact same model I've been using all along. He's got the magnetic field coming over, going down there,
oh,
and rising up to the centre.
Okay.
So this is one side of the...
That interests me because I do think we're supposed to learn from nature, and Schauberger said that they've done the opposite of that. They've taken explosion technology, and that's what we do for everything, right? Moving an engine, moving anything is explosion, where he's saying everything is actually implosion.
Exactly. That's what we're doing with cold fusion. The hydrogen molecules being shredded and separating the isotopes and that, and then your helium gets fed back. Helium gets fed back into Helios, the sun. But there you have it there on each side of the Earth from the centre, because you have the centre Arctic there. Just look into that. So then you've got to understand, is that enough on the Earth? I don't need more. I've got a cross section over there if you want to. Shall I get the cross section out?
Yeah, you might want to show it. Joan says, why aren't you just describing your model like you did so well with the new camcorder video? Nobody knows where anything is. I don't know if you heard me. I'll say it again when you get back.
Now, what was that again?
So Joan said, I think Joan's one of your patrons. She says, why aren't you just describing your model like you did so well with the new camcorder video? Nobody knows where anything is. That's what she, I don't know. That's what she said.
I don't know what they want to know. I mean, I've gone over so many things in the past, I'm not too sure, but if we put a slice through the round Earth, it looks like this.
Okay.
You've got the tropical gap.
So hopefully people know what he's talking about. So that's the toroidal field, but we cut it in half and we're looking from the side on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So all creation is hidden back here above the Arctic in this S-curve vortex. All the celestial bodies are in here, or no, the moon and stars are in here, but on the plane at the top are the planets and the sun. The sun is just off center of the black hole center. The black hole is right at the center, right at the top here. And then the sun is on its horizon, direct horizon, and goes around the black hole. So you draw the ecliptic plane, a round circle, black hole in the middle, there's the sun. The sun moves around the hole. But this ecliptic plane is like a wave. You drop a pebble in the middle of the lake, it comes out in a wave. And all the high points, the focal points, is the planets. 5 planets, 1 sun and 1 moon. That makes 7. Just to disregard the other flipping 2 they keep talking about. They're more mythological, actual mythological. So, and this is the ecliptic plane that flexes. So the real sun back here moves up and down with the flex of the ecliptic plane. It'll flex down and out, up and in over the year. You get the sun right out here, all the way up back up in here. This is why we get this other shape here, up and in, down and out. But it's understanding the dual system where it's split at the tropics. With the 2 magnets split like this. North pole, North pole, South pole, South pole. They don't meet. All the energy is being created right here. That's where we see the sun. Well, we're supposed to. It's how it works in physics. But every man sees his own sun within his arc of horizon. That's taking another big step.
I think people might grasp this. So what do you, I guess just describe real quick, what is an arc of horizon?
Man sees out to his horizon. It's at what, 5K, isn't it?
Okay.
All around him.
Right.
So that must come over the top of him too. It's a dome.
Okay.
Everything is projected down into his.
So it's
horizon.
what we call your dome of vision, right?
Yeah, it's sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my explanation for why the sun doesn't reduce in angular size, is because it's always at the same distance from you on your
exactly.
dome of
all the celestial bodies.
Okay.
Yeah. So we see. So everything's projected from in here. So this cycle of the moon over a month, it's going around every day, but over the month it's an S cycle. It's actually the sun. The sun does a circle, but when you start looking into what a vortex does, you have to go deep into physics. The moon is the negative of that sun, but in this vortex system. And the moon always comes back to the sun at the end of every month, or the beginning, goes right back into the face of the sun to show it is one and showing us the cycle of life. You wander away and come back. You wander away and come back. That's the meaning to life. We're born into the dual world. We're supposed to come back to singularity. So understand this dual system where the actual poles are. It's where you make the energy. That energy gets fed back over to there. For the sun's image and the Milky Way feeds over to the real sun right there. and that Milky Way moves around the flat Earth 15 degrees per hour. So if you follow that Milky Way, you'd be right. And a couple of nights ago, it was the perfect night to be filming the Milky Way because it showed the nice big curve, the curve in the sky. Like I'm in the south, it showed. See, these magnetic field lines, they actually go right around like this. The cycle of the stars in the southern hemisphere. I saw the Milky Way like this, and this nice big curve all the way around like this. But it comes from out of here during the day, and there's nightfalls. I catch it here, coming around here. They're forever doing these circles. So you go back to the northern hemisphere, stars, whatever is in here is in there. And it's all projected out from the center. All the stars in that central vortex.
So wouldn't you see the sun go around you?
No, because you can't see a 24-hour day. You can't see the sun 24 hours, can you?
No, I'm just talking about you drew that circle there, and you said that the sun goes around that circle.
Yeah, we see you got east here, west here.
Mm-hmm.
That's your half day. You'd see the sun come over here like this.
Okay.
You don't see the sun on the night side.
Okay.
But as the season change, as the dual cell starts parting, the system starts moving back this way and reducing back this way. It starts coming back down in here. And it pops out. That's how you get the full sun all the way around the south and the southern hemisphere. Then you have to come back to this dual cell system, understanding the Earth, how it's a dual cell, separating. So you've got the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, and they come together and part. So you're still getting this reflected image out to the south, but you've got this comes right up and overlays right up to here like this. That's the winter. The northern hemisphere northern hemisphere summer, southern hemisphere winter. And that southern field rotation comes right up. So you've got to imagine this dual cell system, which is what it is. And then when it starts coming out again, it almost completely separates, but it ends up looking like this. December solstice. Now, there's a balance, there's a point of balance. The sun's crossing and it's enlightenment. It's a divine period. That's what all religion's all about. There's that point there. And that's where the magnetic field's a bit, because it's a 3-to-2 ratio, right? Mm-hmm. It's a 3-to-2 ratio. So when that comes in, there's a point where that magnetic force and that magnetic field are equally balanced. Balance of the magnetic field. And that's at the crossing of the analemma right there. It's not the equinox. That's just the halfway point between the two solstices. But there's a perfect balance, and that's what life's all about, being perfectly balanced for spiritual enlightenment and all that sort of thing. The seasonal change, that's where seasoning came from, salt and pepper, because your season's changing, the human body is changing. That's why we have to bring salt into your diet mid-August. Prepare your body for the change in season just before spring. Mid-August for us southerners anyway. So realize that magnetic balance. The fields are balanced, bang on. It's not the equinox. Back at the sun's crossing, the sun analemma. And all the religious stories are all about this magic here, at that balancing point. And that balancing point, you look up in the sky with the telescopes at night, all the celestial bodies are all sitting level. There's no, look at Saturn, Jupiter, the images, they're all nice and level because everything's sitting flat on the plane of Earth. Everything's sitting flat on the ecliptic plane. The plane isn't tilted down and out or up and in. There's no flexing. It's dead flat. So there's man's arc of horizon. He's always standing in the middle, 90 degrees to his zenith. There's his arc. Everything's coming back to him, perpendicular off the arc. Understand this, the two south poles either side, north, 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 south, south. There's the cross section. You've seen these images on ancient buildings, these arcs. That one knew back in the day. You have to look at the Prague clock. They've got exactly how the flat earth works. And it's a 2D type model, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we got here? There are two things to consider. Singularity is the place of creation. Everything is projected from. Creates our dual system. The projected created realm that is from that place of creation, now dual, which is the place that we all exist in, called Earth. And Earth is an enclosed self-generating system. There are two aspects to understand our realm. One, a physical aspect, and the other is the non-physical aspect. But at the end of the day, nothing is actually physical. If you can grasp this concept, you are halfway home. For example, we and everything else on Earth expand as we move from north to south, so-called south, and contract back to the north. For those who must conceive everything in a physical nature will never see the light, will never accept or understand the flat earth model and the nature of our realm. You might as well stay with Globe's theory. It is for the lower conscious state of man. Come back when you are ready. Till then, keep quiet. Get rid of this one. So, as this northern hemisphere star rotation turns, which is the top of the vortex or the vortex, it does a 360. This image here will turn all the way around and do a 360 back to where it started. So because everything's projected from the center north, there's always an image out here. And every man is on a meridian. He's on a line from north to south. So he'll get his nice circular star rotations if he knows how to film the stars, star trail or time lapse. There'll always be a circle of stars, but they're not exactly the same like they keep going on about in science. That guy and that guy, his motion of these stars would have revolved that much more, moved around that little bit more. Because they're all drifting this way. And as they drift that way, this is turning. So you can do a star trail film at night and have another camera next to it doing a time lapse. So one will be filming the stars in this nice circle. They only turn about, I'm not even thinking it's 120 degrees, and they disappear. Because it's all to do with this vortex back in creation here. But if you had it on time lapse, you could track one of these stars here and watch it drift all the way around here.
Right.
It's out here and then it starts drifting in because it does a cardioid loop in behind you, the opposite side of the Earth, then comes back out again.
But the middle point of rotation wouldn't be right above your heads, right? Or would it be?
No. Okay. It depends on the seasonal change too.
Right.
Because everything will start pushing out in the December solstice for the southern hemisphere, and they'll start coming back in. So it's just a shame you guys couldn't see the Milky Way the other night. It's just a perfect image of what I'm trying to explain here, because the southern crux is in the Milky Way. And during the day, during the day, let's walk in this one, eh? The crux is here, and it's drifting all the way around here during the day. And then I see it at night here, pretty close to overhead, not really. And then as the night goes on, the crux ends up over here. And the crux of the pointers are always pointing to the center here, which is Sigma Octantis. That's how it works. And it's understanding this, the geometry of our Earth, the 3-to-2 ratio of between the north and the south.
So why is it then, according to what you're saying, why would it be that we see the stars reflected in the south? Okay, we got that. Why do we see only one sun? Shouldn't we see the same thing as the north sees, right? The north sees the stars, and then the south sees the mirrored stars. So why isn't it that the north sees the sun and then the south sees the mirrored sun? Because what you're basically saying is that the sun appears to the people in the south, but then the actual sun no longer appears to people in the north, right?
Not necessarily, no. All the way from there, all the way to center north, all the way to here, the sun was anywhere on those magnetic field lines.
But just one sun, right?
You only see one image. Your eyes only pick up one image within your arc of horizon.
Right. So now
it's just the way it is.
Now picture you're at the equator and you're looking north on your left and you're looking south on your right, but you can see the stars and the mirrored image of the stars.
Yeah, well, the equator is different because you're in that dielectric zone and you're just going to either look north or south. You can't see both. That'd be a bit weird.
Well, if you looked east, you would see stars on your left and on your right. Like if you stand on the equator, look east, you would see stars on your left and right. But you're saying those are mirrored stars. So I'm just wondering if where's the best place for us to prove this would be at the equator, right? You would be best to prove that the north and the south are the same, inverted mirrored.
You can be anywhere if you want to start looking at it. Like if you look at Rigel and Sirius, you go and draw Rigel and Sirius in the sky, whichever way you're looking at it, or Aldebaran and Betelgeuse.
Okay.
And then turn it over and look where it is. It's what you're seeing in the south, because the northern hemisphere stars at the top of your vortex, you're looking there, they come down and go like this. So now you're looking on the other side into the southern hemisphere. And that's when you start getting into the concave, understanding what quadrant means and all that.
Okay.
It's definitely a mirrored image from the north into the south. That just comes down like this due to parabolic imaging. So this is your southern hemisphere here, right? It's curved down. And then let's say the northern star rotation's up here. Because the magnetic flux of the Earth is curved in the C shape, it creates the parabolic image, which brings that image down here, inverted, back to the observer. It all comes off this curve. So you look up the word Octantis. I can read all that to you if you like.
Yeah, I never even thought about what that word means. Or I can look it up if you want me to.
Yeah, because it's a quadrant. It's a C. It's a 1/4 of the system here. It goes back to celestial navigation. You need to have your 4 cardinal directions, and the quad's the 4. But then it becomes the 8 because you need one in the northern hemisphere and one in the southern hemisphere. They're both different, aren't they? Because they're inverted.
Mm-hmm.
So I can read a bit of this to you.
If you want, go ahead.
We'll go right back to the beginning.
I said, if you want, go ahead. Whatever you want.
Yeah, okay. So basically, for now, you forget the basics for now, like inertial plane or the firmament, which is based on pressure, not a solid structure, and go deep into understanding of magnetism, because everything begins with magnetism. The atom is magnetism. It is Adam, is of male and female, which is the sun. And this is why the moon's come away, because they've taken the female entity out of Adam. That's the even split, the Eve story. Give him a partner. South Pole, North Pole. It is an inert cellular part of a bigger picture, the dual cell system of the atom. Like the firmament is of 7 inert gases, with 7 inert gases within the 7. And they keep breaking down like that into 7s. So too is the atom. The atom is the magnet, male and female. Adam was split evenly, Adam and Eve's story, by taking the female out. Is taking or losing your Lilith, the female entity within man. See, as man's born into the physical world, he loses his Lilith. He has to find his way back to gain that singularity again, the meaning to life. His Lilith gets lost at man's physical birth, that he must find in his physical world before he leaves. Otherwise, he comes back again and again until he does. The physics of our Earth is also showing us this, whereby the southern hemisphere, the female weak force, retracts out of the northern hemisphere every year to combine every year, showing us the cycle or meaning to life. It's this separation and coming back in again, like a conjoined cell. The Earth dual system does not fully detach. Imagine stretching separation before it pops out into the southern summer hemisphere, like splitting the atom. And this is my take on an atomic bomb, but it's splitting the atom. Splitting is separating or repulsing the same poles, e.g., 2 of the same poles that are not magnetized yet facing each other, like I've shown you in the 2 magnets together, 2 south poles, facing each other, are blasted apart inside a pressurized vessel full of whatever explosives they want. Why do you think the bomb has to be detonated remotely before it hits the ground? There's that one.
Can you, somebody wants you to draw for them real quick, show where United States and Australia are on your map there? The one in the upper left?
Well, you're in the northern hemisphere, so you'd be way up here somewhere. Australia's down here.
Okay.
New Zealand's here. Oh, no, sorry, it's the tropics. You're way up here.
Okay.
First start by understanding the firmament. It is based on pressure, differing gaseous states of matter. 7 inert gaseous layers that break down to 7 within the 7 and so on. Just like the Mandelbrot. This is how you must see all the aspects of flat earth system. Systems within systems. One system is the 2 separate hemispheres. But in this system, there is a multitude of systems going on. Its magnetic field is expanding and contracting, although it is still a dual system. It is moving through different states as the 2 magnetic fields overall merge and retract. This is the overlay. The ancient Egyptians are showing us in Abydos, Seti 1, pyramid text, I think. Abydos is the overlay. Inside here, down, it's the subduction where the southern field goes down underneath the south. And in that overlay, you get a lot more stars. I just did the star trail the other night. You get the odd star around here, right? Well, in here, there's a multitude because they've doubled up. The stars in the south. Hey?
Sorry, I coughed.
From the stars in the south and north are overlaying there. They come together to form the missing constellations that come around that time of the year. They're linking together to create a different picture. That's what the Egyptians are showing us in Abydos and the overlays. All the secrets are out there. You just got to understand them. And there is a point whereby the fields become balanced. The middle kingdom, old and new, northern hemispheres and southern hemispheres. Anubis, using the scales and the duet, then the duality, the balance. What is a duet? The jewel, the overlay, the central point. Where is the heart of man? At his midway point, the midpoint chakra. It is green. What color is Thoth tablets? Do you suspect green may be a divine color at a divine point in the seasonal changes? Ma'at, the goddess, responsible for maintaining order. Order in the universe. The heart / overlay is the seat of the life spirit, the place where you collect your free pass go out of this matrix. This is the creation story, not before at any time or after. This is the time of rebirth, when you have or are raising your soul. Everybody thinks they have a soul. Well, you might have one, but have you actually activated it? And the answer is no. Are you the son of man? Every man has a son of man within him. It is his pineal gland, and that pineal gland becomes illuminated once you raise your soul. Do you understand all this? You need to purchase my Floodgates videos over on Patreon in the Floodgates tier, then join my Saints Tomb of Illumination.
So just to answer some people in the chat, I'm just saying, so you never need to accept anything somebody's telling you, number one. So if somebody's giving you a new thought or a new concept, just listen and see if anything matches, see if anything meets your observations, see if anything seems like there's something there, and then it's up to you to look into it further. So it's not a matter of he's going to convince you in a 10-minute explanation, clearly, but just hear him out. That's it's not a matter of you have to buy into it. You got to it's right now. I understand it now. Now, Joan, I do see you in the chat. I mean, you keep mentioning. Do you want to come on the show? And do you think you can explain his model better than him, or I don't know really what you're saying. If you think that, I can ask him, and we'll see if he wants you to come on. But go ahead, Lindsay.
I'll just finish this, eh?
Yeah, go ahead.
So balance, due to the 3-to-2 ratio of the magnetic cycle, is obviously an imbalance. But there comes a point in the seasonal change whereby the two hemispheres' magnetic fields become balanced. Most people on Earth are fooled into thinking the equinox is the balance, but the Freemasons hide from you that the balance is back at the crossover of the Sun Dilemma. That's that one. Then we've got the sun out and around Antarctica. The name Australis derives from the Latin Australis, meaning southern, and dates back to the 2nd century legends of an unknown southern land that is Terra Australis Incognita. In other words, the southern hemisphere was a mystery. And hello, mystery comes from magnetism. And still today, most people have no idea how the southern hemisphere operates, except high-ranking officials in the military and the Freemasons. Then we have Sigma Octantis, octant, instrument for making angular measurements in navigation or astronomy, 1731. From late Latin, octans, the 8th part, an analogy of quadrant. In geometry, the 8th part of a circle by 1731. Then it goes on a quadrant, late 14th century, a quarter of a day, 6 hours, a 4th part, a quarter from 1570s as the quarter of a circle, the arc of circle containing 90 degrees. They're talking about this arc here, octantis, the arc. It's a quadrant of your arc of horizon when you're looking south. It could be tricky. So you're looking south. So this person in the southern hemisphere looking south, he's seeing this. That's a southern quadrant. Well, it's like that though. He's got to realize the curving down of this field, creating this parabolic mirrored projection. The ancient surveying instrument for measuring altitudes is called the so-called C. There's sort of a C shape. They say ancient surveying instruments. So talking about celestial navigation, because all you the Earth is flat, you need a horizon. But this measuring up from the horizon, less than your zenith, will always be within a quarter circle. Strange that. Etymology has 8 associated with quadrant, a fourth part. So you go back to the 8 when you've got 4 here, and you've got another 4 in the northern hemisphere when it comes to celestial navigation. The 4 corners in each hemisphere add up to 8, and when the sun is down and out in the southern hemisphere, it is considered as an octopus. Octopus. When the sun's down and out, it's looking like this. It's the magnetic flux of the Earth. And this can also take you into the how do I pronounce that word?
Yeah, and people, if you go to his channel, which I put a link in the chat because somebody was asking about him. By the way, if I ever do an interview, the person's link will always be the very first thing in the description, so you don't need to ask for it. Just go to the description; it'll always be there. If anybody's on the show, and if you go to his channel, Tomb of El-lumination, which I put in there, and search the videos, and then put oldest first, you'll get to. It looks like he started about 3-4 years ago, and you can actually see he's been talking about this. A lot of people thinking he just started this or something. He's been talking about the same thing. I'm looking at videos here from 3 years ago that are the same exact drawings he has on his board now. Just so it's not something he just came up with. Go ahead.
I've been trying to explain to people for years, and like I say, no one's really getting it. So there's your octopus, basically.
Let me just say, there's a couple people in the chat that think or seem to think that they get it. So if you're one of those, it'd be a good thing to make a channel and to start explaining it if you think you can explain it better. Because it's not going to go very far if it's this hard to explain. It's just you could help them out. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll just show you what the sun and the sun pyramid in Teotihuacan. That's people don't even know what that's for. That is showing you the flux of the Earth, and they've got the thing through here. That's the crossing of the sun, Denalema. That is the pyramid of the sun. That's showing you the magnetic flux of the year. There's your pomegranates, the sun all the way around the south. It also, if you go onto my Patreon page, you'll end up finding all about the spaceships and all that. Well, that's all that's referring to. You've seen this model, haven't you, where you turn the center north,
I have.
The sky projects.
You're the first person I've ever seen that provide that. Yeah,
it's exactly how it works.
I wanted to correct one person in the chat. One person in the chat is going after Conspiracy Library. Says, Joan, you're full of it. He only started talking about a 24-hour sun in the past few months. That's not true. I'm trying to find the video. He's got a video from a year ago where he's talking that there is a 24-hour sun in the south. So just want to point that out.
I've got older videos way back I've taken down. I've got a couple of hundred videos I'm supposed to edit and put back up.
But you've got one on your channel, right, from a year ago that talks about the 24-hour sun? I just don't like when people make claims.
I'm not even sure.
Okay.
I mean, I just only touched on it for a second or two in the video. I'm not even sure why I called it that. But
it may not be in the title then? Okay.
It is in the title. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what it's called, 24-hour sun, yeah.
So this one says, Flat Earth Antarctic 24-hour daylight explained. See description. This is from 1 year ago. Let me get the date of it. This one was, does it put the actual date? Yeah, premiered May 23rd, 2023. So that's over a year ago. When the ecliptic plane is down and out, the entire Antarctic region is in full daylight 24/7. The sun is merely an image seen within every man's arc of horizon. It's not a one-off spotlight revolving around the flat Earth. The sun is seen at nodal points in the Earth's net, the curving magnetic field lines north and south, and Earth's toroidal field. So just pointing out that Joan is not off, and that he was talking about this. That's now, 16 months ago, and explaining that there was a 24-hour sun. So just wanted to clear that up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's just understanding the flexing of the magnetic field as to how it all comes out. I mean, it is hard to explain, but it's the secrets hidden within a vortex. And they're getting into it a bit in their science now, how the heart works through this vortex system. It was a good site I read, it was a while ago. The guy discovered that the heart was the vortex, and he unraveled it, and it was a big S curve. And, you know, if you vortex water, no matter how tall the vortex is, there's only one S curve. You can shrink it down, have a vortex this high or that high. It's only one S curve. And that's the S curve of creation. We have two in the center vortex. So it's just the way that creates the whole pumping of our whole system within that vortex. The yearly system, the monthly system. I see Dave Weiss mentioned, at least someone's latched on. I was the only guy that said the sun lapped the moon over a month. And, but he went on to say that the stars lap the sun. That's wrong. There's only one central motion, and the sun does the same thing. It'll lap the stars over a whole year.
Correct.
But not quite, you see.
Right.
So because it falls short that little bit, it allows that little bit of those little bits of those stars to show up. Each time the sun drops back that little bit at the end of each year, you're getting more stars coming back around this way.
Yeah, that's what they call the wobble, right?
That's the precession of the equinox.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So the sun doesn't quite lap the stars; it finishes just short. Mm-hmm. I had it down to 20 minutes, but science says 50 arc seconds or something. A little bit less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, not sure what they say.
So it's all to do with the 5 holy days where the sun never moves in declination at the secret spot here, the crossing of the sun's inner limit. That's where everything's dead level. The ecliptic plane is dead flat. So what we're talking about then?
I lost you there for a second. Why did you bring up the Analema? You're saying that line there, that's not the equator though, right?
No.
Or the equinox, if you will.
I haven't got into that. The equinox is down here.
Okay, just making sure you got that. Okay.
See, the sun has already flexed, gone down. So it's not balance. This is balance. What are we talking about? Can't remember.
Neither do I. Right before you got to that Analema part, we have somebody asking. Brian Leakey wants to know. Do I want to ask that question? So he's saying if I'm south, he's saying if he's at the 90 degrees south, is there any? And he's looking north, right? Is there any continents behind him?
What do you mean 90 degrees? Is he down in Antarctica?
Yes, 90 degrees south, wherever that would be. I guess there wouldn't be really a spot.
Way down here. That's it.
Okay.
Curl there is right down here.
Okay, and then he's asking, I'm looking north towards South America. What continent or continents is behind me?
Well, you've got the Antarctic shelf.
Okay. His answer would be none, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Keep going.
So,
yeah, somebody said, Jaron, please have your guest do a video explaining the basic aspects of the nature of electromagnetism so an average man can understand. I mean, yeah, it's not that easy.
That's when they need to go online and just study their science. Electromagnetism.
Well, you don't need to do it here. I'm just saying what people are saying. So what if he does?
Well, it's the build-up. They have a magnet. They have a positive and a positive, and that's what's going on in here. That's the dielectric zone. And electromagnetism is the build-up of this. Creates this energy that comes up and over and feeds the plasma sun. So you've got capacitor plates. And what's it doing here? That's electromagnetism. Hang on. No, it's magnetic induction, sorry. Electromagnetism is through this magnetic field, creating this electrical. So the sun, even the sun isn't even electromagnetic yet, because it needs I'll bring another board in.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm always open. What I like is that people who this resonates with go and help them out. Maybe start your own channel. But some of the titles of the videos, if you just look at his older videos, are very enticing. I mean, one of them says that there is. So you still believe that that the celestial bodies are all discs? I don't know. If that's okay. So that's like something.
They're all projections, so they have to be. How can they be? They're holographically projected.
Okay, thank you. I was just, I noticed that it said that, and so that's something that might intrigue people. He's got one, the flat Earth model that science cannot debunk. He says, proof no celestial bodies are spherical; they are disks due to magnetic polarity. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
So the real sun that's back up in here, the plasma sun, isn't electromagnetic until it gets this magnetic field coming off the ground from the moon. Well, forget the moon. It's just coming off the ground here. They got the dual forces here, magnetic induction, all the energy here, it's coming in together to meet here, spiraling up here to there. And once the field comes off the Arctic straight up and hits the sun, then you have electromagnetic. And that's what creates our whole realm, the light. Everything is of the light, because everything comes from this sun. And this sun is what illuminated all this, brought life into what it is today. That created life, because it illuminated this area in here, and it's this area in here that's created our realm. So everything is all projected from in here out as just images, holographic images. The stars you see are just holograms up. They're only probably less than 5 Ks away.
Yeah, they seem to all be the same distance, and not far.
You get outside with your camera or just stand out there and look at night, you can see it all for yourself.
This is a video I've never seen of yours. I just want to show people because I think it'll interest people. They'll want to go look at this. He's got some sort of a glass ball, which I've never even... These things are hard to find. I can't even find like a half dome glass.
I know.
It's very large because
they're very expensive to find, make. They want $30,000 for me to have the mold, for them to make the mold, so I can show people. It could be slightly cheaper if they kept the mold, they said. But I found that at a market. It was just a fish bowl.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
So the clear acrylic acts as the moisture in the atmosphere. So what you do is you paint the outside of it, and then move lights around the top center, and you get all the holograms of all the other lights inside the bowl. It's real awesome.
Yep, I'll put a link to this video.
All these floating stars inside the bowl. Exactly how you get in your night sky. You can't debunk it, eh? And once you understand parabolic mirrors, you understand how the image all comes back to you, the observer. They're right there on your horizon.
So what you're saying, the parabolic mirror, you're talking about what would be essentially a dome?
No, the concavity of the sky here.
Okay, so just the concavity of the basically magnetic field.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it acts like a mirror because you've got all the moisture in the atmosphere. And
Gotcha.
that's as far as the Earth's flux goes. So it stops there and it projects everything back into a nice rotation, observer's horizon, all from this image back in here. So going back to those mirrored stars, we did that, didn't we? Rigel and Sirius are actually Aldebaran and Betelgeuse.
Right.
They're just flipped. And the Big Dipper, the Small Dipper is the crux. And next to the crux is another star formation cross. That's the Big Dipper.
And I'm guessing that the reason, if at least in your mind, the reason it would be difficult to actually show that is because the ones, so the brighter they are in the north, the less bright they'd be in the south? or no? Like if
I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
I looked into that. I can't remember. But anyway, they're
Okay.
more widely dispersed. I think the energy is still the same.
Okay. Gotcha.
But anyway, that's the only way you can tell. It's looking close to this area here to match them, or way back here to match the center, because in here they're all overlaid and back to front. Well, not overlaid, but back to front, too hard. But if you look at these known images, you know, because Rigel, Sirius, and Aldebaran represent the big divine cross that goes straight through Orion's belt. And then you got the Southern Cross. So you only have to look at that. You know, then look at the back image and you see it's pretty close enough to knowing that and the Big Dipper, Small Dipper match.
Okay.
It's like that. So that's probably all I've got on my mind. If you want to ask.
No, it's good. I'll have people start asking questions. Make sure you tag me. I'm going to go to the bottom of the chat. So if you've already messaged me, I'm not going to scroll up and look for it. But starting right now, I am going to look at the chat and I'm looking for my name. Okay. It's a Duck says his link isn't in the description. Just letting you know. Yes, it is. It'd be the very first thing. Now, when you put in somebody's link, it immediately changes it to their name. So let me make sure I'm not lying. If you go to the description of this video down at the bottom, it says joining me is at Meta369. Click that and watch what happens. The magic of the internet will take you to his channel. That's
they've hidden me though.
Well, not I put your link in the description so they didn't hide you from that. We've got.
Well, I can't find it. I used to punch that in, you come up straight away with the whole page, but now it doesn't show me my site.
Yeah, and when somebody searches for you too, the other problem with searching for you is that you've named your channel something that's difficult for people to recognize is El-lumination. So if I tell somebody, hey, go check out Tomb of Illumination, and they search Tomb of Illumination, they're never going to find you because that's not what your channel name is. So that's
true.
One thing. But we got Jeff Gadboy says, ask about shooting stars.
Well, sometimes you can tell when you know where direct south is, and basically know how the skies work in the Milky Way. You can see stars shoot straight down through the Milky Way. But there are some going in other directions. But it's just knowing, what you're looking at, which a lot of them are shooting back into the center, which is down through the black hole, the Milky Way. Anything that runs across like this randomly, I suppose it's just it's all cyclical. Nothing is out of the blue because we're all fixed in a frozen moment of time. So everything comes around in cycles, and it's basically a plasma sprite, isn't it?
So you're I'm going to feed off somebody's question here. So somebody says, ask him. Oops, I just lost it now. Ask him. What, did you not tag me and I saw it? Maybe that's what it is. Where did you just ask this? 1 second. I just saw it. Oh, please ask him, what's the next step? Once enough people understand, then what? But I would kind of add to that. You said, if I wasn't mistaken, that our job is to get back to the North Pole, or else we're recycled here and reincarnated again. Can you kind of expand on both those?
Yeah, it's up here though. It's spiritual.
Okay, so it's not a physical place we need to go.
No.
Okay.
You have to open your mind up and be like open to all this stuff for sure. Because seek and you shall find, and the truth will set you free. If you don't find the truth, you're going to be stuck as a dummy and come back and do it again and again and again until you start waking up.
Yeah, I believe that.
So if you believe all the crap on the TV and the news and the politicians, you're going to stay a dummy. You're never going to leave the matrix. You're locked in here mentally.
Yeah, and I think that the
whole realm is consciousness.
And the people that run this place, they don't want to expand their mind because they would rather be here and manage the physical and trick people and trap people and lie to people and live off the material. So that's why they try and trick you into continuing your you're recycling here with just more people
That's
for
right,
them to
because you
enslave.
stay their slaves.
Right, exactly.
But if no one paid them any attention, never looked at any of the evil deeds they're doing, never even thought about it, it just all go away.
Yes.
It's a strange thing, but their job is to keep you agitated, because it stops you from waking up, because you have to be at peace. That's what the whole black hole creation is all about. We came from the resting state of the black hole. That's perfection. And we go out and we're supposed to find our way back to this place of rest.
To the source.
And you don't get there if you're an activist, fully absorbing all the drama and, COVID and all that BS you had to go through. You've got to just let it all go within yourself, because no one will save you except yourself. Christ is within you.
I don't remember which chapel it is. I just want to mention real quick. There's a chapel somewhere in Rome that on the ceiling is a painting, and I don't remember if it's the Sistine, which one it is, but there's a very unique thing where the angel is holding a mirror and shining the sun back.
Yeah.
Do you know what the name of the chapel is? I wanted to find that picture, but I can't find it.
Oh, that sort of thing's all over the place. Even the Prague clocks. Is he holding a mirror? Yeah, one of them is holding a mirror, and the silly Freemason saying, it's ego.
Or as above, so below, or something.
You call it ego or something, but no, it's showing you. It's a mirrored image. Our reality's mirrored. And the other guy on the Prague clock is holding the bag, and they say, oh, it's money, greed. No, it's not. It's the flipping. Look, it's this point here again. It's there. All the secrets are in here. The sun's crossing. It's rest. The person who created the clock knew all about it. He's obviously an illuminated, an enlightened man. He knew how to create the whole clock. What are the other images there? One's a skeleton, because you've got to die and be reborn. You have to be purified. You can't come back as an enlightened person with all the evil shit in your mind. That's why you have to be totally cleansed mentally, consciously, to be illuminated. That's the purification system of Earth too, because the hydrogen molecule comes up here as the neutral in physics. You got the neutral, the proton is the sun, and the electron is the moon. These are spiraling around this neutral zone to get up over there. Well, that's the hydrogen molecule coming up, being shredded, and all the shit's falling off into the deserts. The desert's full of all the crap, and then that filters it. And then the pure water gets over here and drops back down to the Buford Gaia and come back through under the earth again for us to live off. That's the purification system. No one's ever mentioned that. This is one of about 20 discoveries I have, but I'm not a Freemason, so I'll never get any recognition, because you have to declare the earth is flat to find out the way the whole system works.
They're on the level.
It all makes sense. So that's a religious story too. Purification before you become illuminated. See, the pure water, the hydrogen molecule gets separated, and they pull out the isotopes and feed into their plasma nuclear fusion system, remember? Anyway, it gets purified, all drips down here in the Arctic. It's mist and settles into the Buford Gaia. There's more proof that there's a vortex above. Because the Buford Gaia goes clockwise, but if you take it up and look upwards, it's anti-clockwise. It's the northern night sky, isn't it? And knowing that Polaris is actually the sun, because the sun is a star, but it's only illuminated this way across the black hole. The black hole is the amplifier. But a nighttime image straight up above it, it's the star, and it's going around the black hole.
We've got somebody asking, can you ask him what he thinks about the moon being a plasma like the professor in the 60s said? Or do you think not?
He was partly right. You obviously can't go to it. It's not physical, but not plasma. It's the negative image of the sun. The sun's a positive plasma. The moon is a negative image.
November just got here. He wants you to start over. I'm just kidding. That's what he says.
The sun is the plasma, the pure white plasma. The moon is a negative image. It's a negative. It's taken away. It's taken out of that plasma as a negative. So whatever you want to, I don't know what they name it. Would name that in physics. But the sun isn't actually created until it gets this magnetic field up here. You got the dual capacitance, electromagnetic induction, which is through magnetism, 2 south poles, and then they have to add the north pole. If you don't understand me, try and understand. Nigel's cheese is just as difficult, but he knows all this.
I know. I thought you were the same person for a long time.
Yeah, some people did. Yeah, and that silly old Toon guy, he didn't even know what a bloody Pommy accent is. Didn't even know the guy was English. So this is your free power, and Nigel knows how to create free power from magnetism. So anyway, let's move on. Got another question?
Yeah. So just to make it clear, when looking through a telescope and seeing the sunspots move and the sun flares, is he saying what I see is a hologram?
Yeah, so realize the sun's image comes through the Milky Way, and if there's anything, so you've got a, I don't know, you got the Milky Way, and you're seeing the image out at this end here. So if there's a star happens to be in here or whatever, it's going to show up on the face of the sun, because the sun, this disc here is being projected from the real one back in here. So if there's a star between here and there, it's going to show up as a dot on the sun face.
Yeah, I looked into that before, and I couldn't quite marry those two because the stars seem to move across the sun like in a day, but on the sunspots take longer than that. But that was just me kind of on a.
No, if you stop and think about it, which way the magnetic field's rotating the circular star formation, you find the stars are moving in the exact right direction across the face of the sun.
Okay.
So in your northern hemisphere, it'd be winding back this way. So you see it go from 8 to 2. Mine, it's going this way, so it'd be going from 4 to 10 p.m. It takes a bit of thought, but once you understand all these are projected from the one central place, all projected like this. The what's between there and creation. And this is what causes the lunar eclipses. You get a planet caught in the Milky Way, in the tomb. That's the tomb. In the tomb for 3 days. What's in the tomb for 3 days? The moon is in Pisces, in the Milky Way with the sun for 3 days. So the ultimate divine story of Jesus is happening at that divine time of the year. Balance there, when everything's nice and flat and balanced, and the Milky Ways come around on both hemispheres because the whole magnetic field's balanced, and they line up. And then you've got the bridge from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere. That's the whole bridging, the Da Vinci's Golden Bridge, the crossing of the Red Sea, all that sort of stuff in religion. What were we talking about?
Let's go to the next question. So we got. He was asking about the stars. You gave your answer for that. Ask Lindsay about the Gegenschein, skylighting occurrence opposite of the sun's position.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? It's a faint light about 20 degrees across on the celestial sphere opposite the sun. Probably, this is online, probably by backscatter of sunlight by solar system dust. And I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
This is the Egyptian crocodile in the sky. Eye of the crocodile. That's that bulge in the Milky Way is where the sun is on the other side. And there's a bit of a white cloud around the back there. Well, that's what they're calling this Gegenschein.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling you that it's just reflecting from the sun from the other side. Well, it is the other side because the sun's behind the Milky Way. So the Milky Way goes into the hole like this, the vortex. That's where the real sun is. And it projects out that way. We're looking at the Milky Way this side. The sun's on the other side, pointing that way. But when you look at the Milky Way, the sun is just on the other side. It's tucked into the Milky Way. And that's the light being projected across the other side of the world. But remember, this is a projected image. This is projected into our realm when everything's right back here, projecting that way. That takes a bit of thinking.
Okay.
But realise each hemisphere has their own Milky Way. There's 2 Milky Ways. You come down to the south over to the top of the Capricorn. The other one comes out of the north over to Cancer.
Somebody,
the 2 Milky Ways. And at the particular time, these 2 line up nice and straight. Otherwise, they're not marrying up because of the 2-to-3 ratio. They never marry up till the magnetic field is balanced. Then these 2 end up dead in line. That's when you can cross the Red Sea, cross the Golden Bridge. It's gold because it's all about the sun, divinity, the King, Christ. All that sort of stuff. That's deep. I go into that on my Patreon page if you're interested.
somebody wants to know, what are the characteristics of the capacitor plates at the tropics? How can we identify or test for this region?
Only by detecting the magnetic field. And they know that how it works with a dip compass. They've done it. Been known for hundreds of years. So they know the dip compass. All they say is it goes up here, points up here. But you probably find it's more strong at these points here. Because it's neutral in here, very weak, because the field's coming down into the ground here and here. This is why you get turbulence every time you cross the 22.3 degree line in your aeroplanes. And then
that we can test.
My girlfriend's an airline hostess, and I was questioning her about what's the term when the airplanes drop out of the sky?
Right, it's with a hit an air pocket, they say.
It's still turbulence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I says, I suppose it's above the equator somewhere. And she goes, yeah. So that's where you get a lack of air, because the winds don't cross the tropics. The wind, the currents, they don't cross the tropics. Specifically the magnetic field. So there's another killer for the old globe.
You mean they don't cross the equator, or you're saying they don't cross the tropics?
Doesn't cross the tropics. So obviously you might get a bit of wind sort of blowing over that way a bit, but
well, I mean, like hurricanes go up along Florida, so they must cross the Tropic of Cancer.
It might come in a little bit into the equator area, but it doesn't cross.
Yeah, I have to think about that exactly. Okay.
You can look into that. Winds don't cross the tropics, nor does the currents.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, don't quote me on the currents.
Yeah, I'm not positive about that, but it's something we could look into.
Well, it could be right. I don't think it's the currents either. Wind and currents, especially because the magnetic field doesn't. I know that for sure. It's all written in ancient philosophy and stuff. So, I don't know how you'd measure it. It's just a magnetic dip.
Okay.
Well, unless they've got some other modern systems, I don't know.
Where are we going here?
But we've killed them. They're dead in the water. The dip compass, if it dips at both ends, both Arctics, that exposes their total bullshit. That's why they've hidden it online. You've got to dig deep.
Some of these people in chat are hilarious sometimes. It's just funny. I had to watch some of this video a few times to grasp them, but now I do. It's no question. So that's Jeff Gadboys. He's on board with you. A star wouldn't make it past the sun in one day unless you have a 16-hour sun or more. What?
The stars don't move across the face of the sun in one day. They take days.
Well, yeah, maybe 2 days. I mean, if you can go look at Stellarium and just move the sun from one day to the next, and you'll notice a star go pretty much more than halfway across it. So 2 days max. I could show that if somebody wants to see. I'll just write that down.
Well, the first year I looked into flat Earth, I got a telescope or camera, started looking at the moon, and then pretty well around springtime when there's an equilibrium, I looked at the sun, and there's the flipping stars. And I looked online, there's no mention of the black spots on the stars at that time. I thought, what are these then? They're not even talking about them.
Mm.
So I tracked it all the way up. I was watching it for about 4 days, I think, and then I forgot about it. And it was going all the way up from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I'll just read you some of the physics then regarding this capacitor system creating the sun. This process of generating current in a conductor by placing the conductor in a changing magnetic field is called induction. That's magnetic induction that old Toon doesn't understand. This is called induction because there is no physical connection between the conductor and the magnet.
Okay, so I'm just going to show this real quick. I have to shrink it so much to show it. So this is a Stellarium view. That's not going to be very good because it's terrible size. Hold on 1 second. I need to get that larger, or else it's not going to work. Let me go to browser solo and then go to this full size. Here. All right, so that should be. Oh, you can't see that. There you go. So this is just a view from Stellarium. Again, I'm not saying this is exactly as it is. Obviously, could be different, but for the most part, I think it matches. So you'll see, you can't see the time period here at the bottom, but I'm just going to move it forward by a day. So it's right now it's on 7/11/2024. I'm hitting it now. It's at 7/12. Okay, so back here, 7/11, 7/12. So you'll notice that that's one full 24 hours. So watch these two stars here. I'm going from 7/11 to 7/12. So you'll see how far they move just in one day. So the same thing would be true if we spun this around a little bit. So it can't take more than 2 days to get across the sun.
No, it depends on which stars. I mean, how close are they? There's this all this depth.
What?
There's depth to the atmosphere. Like there's closer stars to you than.
No, but the stars are all going to make the same move in 24 hours. They can't be some move differently than others. See, so like for instance, watch this. Each step that I take is a day. So God, you can't really see that very well. Let me try and shrink this up this way. There you go. Now you can see the date. That's what I wanted to do. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, but you got to think, where are those stars in relation to the sun? The original sun. So.
Oh, well, I'm just talking about the sun that we see. Because if you think about what Austin Thompson has shown, is he's shown sunspots that move across the face of the sun in about, I'd have to ask him, I'm guessing it's 6-7 days, but I could be off by that by a little bit. But you'll see a sunspot's the same one that moves slowly across the sun. So this, now I'm just going to punch forward an hour or a day. See how we're at 7/7? So now we're at 7/8. So watch this star was sought here. So 7/8, 7/9, 7/10, and now it's past it. So it can't be more than a day that it takes. Right there, it's behind the sun. Then the next day, it's way past it.
But remember, you got this big S curve in here, the cycle. Is that star there, or is that star here?
Let me bring it back to you.
You know,
go ahead.
You've got all this expansion in here as for distance in relation to the image you're going to get out here. So you're probably looking at this one coming up here, but this one back, it'd be the other way around. That big one there would be that big one. The little one's probably way out here, maybe. And it's fainter, smaller, whatever, because it works like this. You're seeing the thing move from there to there, but this thing's only moving from there to there. You go right back into the center, that's what you're getting. Your big ones are there, the little ones just here and there.
Okay.
That's the whole system of this ecliptic plane. All the energy comes out of here, but you've got all these cycles. Because the sun is right there, he's got the most energy. That's why nothing can pass the sun. It does the circle quicker than anything. So nothing passes the sun catches up. to a star, then passes it. But because the sun's moving that way, and science doesn't even tell you that, they tell you, oh shit, that star's going back that way because the sun's gaining on it. Instead of saying the sun's gaining on it, they tell you the star's going backwards now. Woo, goes forward, backwards, woo, down here, up there.
Well, I think that what they say is that the stars and the sun are just not moving. We're the ones moving.
Yeah, they don't have the sun moving, but it does. It's the quickest, and that's why it laps the stars over 1 year on that rotation.
Right,
but not quite, and it catches up to the moon. They're all going the same way. Everything's moving that way, except the sun is in the center and everything else is out here. You're gonna see it on that line. You've got a little sun in here coming around the circle, comes around and catches up, and this is how you see the image out here. There's creation. That's where we see it out here somewhere, projected out into our realm.
I finally found what I'm looking for. I've been looking for the damn thing forever. I just wanted to show this, but I couldn't. Do you know what the meaning of Atlas Obscura means?
What?
Atlas Obscura? I don't know if you knew what that meant.
No, probably sounds like the Milky Way to me.
Atlas
Obscura?
I don't know what it means.
Atlas Obscura could be the Milky Way.
I don't know. I just saw that on this. I wanted to show that ceiling of that thing, and man, some of this stuff. If you look in Rome, if you look at Rome, and then you look at the date that these chapels are supposedly built. I mean, I don't know how people believe that.
All that stuff they knew. I go there and I see all the images and I go, oh my God, they knew everything.
Well, you can tell they have all the secrets there, and they tried to hide it in these paintings that are still there. And that's why I always bring up Da Vinci. Da Vinci wrote everything in so that you could only see it in a mirror. So I know that there's something to do with mirrors, mirror images, something important there. That...
Yeah. All the southern hemisphere is mirrored. I went to the gym yesterday and there's this metal bar that goes like this. And this is winding like this. Well, that's exactly what happens in the center north Arctic. The system comes up like this, and then spirals around like this. The other one comes up like this and spirals around like this. And they had this hanging here like this, where they had a sign hanging off it once. But all these designs and symbols, they all part of creation. They all knew back in the day. It's only been lost to us in the last 100 years or so, 150.
Well,
they're hiding it all the time. They're changing all the information online all the time. I'm asking questions now, and they don't even come up. Real basic stuff.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that big time. I mean, the whole days of, remember you used to search something on Google and it would show you the amount of pages. Now that's gone. It's just a scroll that's basically the same results, just multiplied a bunch of times. You can't even figure out which page you're on. They just hide it all for 20 years and know the next generation is all indoctrinated with all their BS. I think that's the reason for the Mandela effect, really. I think that's what their goal. Their goal is to have everybody convince each other that it's just bad memory. So in the future, when you remember seeing something on the internet, like I saw that website, I saw that page, someone's just gonna say, "No, it's just your bad memory."
Yeah, I had the same thing when I first started out looking, especially when it came to that solar dynamo colloidal toroidal field. It's basically all written there, describing my whole model. Then a few years later, after I told everyone about it, I go back to have a look again, and I couldn't even understand it. It freaking confused the whole thing. I couldn't understand what they're trying to say when it was so basic. So if I mention it online on my videos, sure enough, it'll be gone in a year or two, or before that.
We've seen them change things real quick, or just eliminate sites altogether.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find trying to find a 360. Maybe this one. I used to see it before. There's like a I want to go inside the church. This is outside. Anyway, I'll find it eventually. It's just I'm trying to find a 360 view of this inside of this church. Now I figured out, I think, what church it is.
Yeah.
All right, let me look at more questions. I don't want to keep you for very long.
Yeah. No, all those ancient churches show all the symbols, all the images of
all there.
creation. And then you've got to remember, this is where I get a bit confused. That's not our history, you silly buggers. It's all mythological part of the creation story. But then you've got to realize everything on earth is imitating creation. So when they talk about specific members in history did this and that, they're telling the whole creation story that I understand. I'm thinking that's just the story. But then after something, they go,
some people
we're
want
pretty dumb, and
people to get a
maybe we did do those stupid things because we're imitating creation. I don't know.
This is Burning My Brain, says Lowry. You should do a weekly with this guy until we get his presentation boiled down. Let's see what else we got here. Jaron got to get him and Austin together, and Austin will explain it better. I think I talked to Austin, and Austin's kind of was in the same place I am. He says I try to follow it, and he gets lost. So we need to have somebody out there can reduce it to something that's more palpable. Please
it's
ask
just
him.
a matter of asking the questions, and then I can try and explain. But I don't know where I'm losing people or what they don't get.
They suck at asking questions. Please ask him to explain how the Gulf Stream works on his model and his knowledge of Coral Castle in Homestead, Florida, allegedly all 33-degree Masons pilgrimage there. Okay, do you know anything about Coral Castle?
Yeah, I looked into that years ago. Yeah, it was something with levitation. I can't remember now, but he knew the secrets. Yeah, it's all about frequency. Getting the right frequency, you can balance things. That goes a bit deep, but I looked into that years ago.
What would you say about the pyramids? Do you know anything about the pyramids?
They all represent all the stuff I talk about. I can explain it all. It's all on my Patreon, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the pyramid, you take the Great Pyramid of Khufu. It's all about flipping it upside down. They flip it upside down. You got the Queen's Chamber here and the male offset. I think that represented the heart, the mind. I can't remember that because I forget stuff. That's why I put it on videos.
I know the same way. I actually teach myself stuff when I watch my old videos. I said things that I've forgotten.
Yeah, because we're inverted to creation. Just like a magnetic field and an electrical. Suppose it, So it's as above, so below. You got to spin creation, put it upside down or perpendicular. So creation's in there, and created is being expressed out. It's inverted. It comes out like that. Ken Wheeler talks about that sort of thing a bit. He's got the right words. And I put a post up the other day. If people could understand what I'm saying and understood Sandos Benassi, obviously he's a way better talker than me, you'd have the whole model. Because everything I do clicks with what he says. Like one time I was working on...
you guys ever been on the same show?
No, I never got around. I moved house when he asked me. But no, I haven't caught up. But when I discovered the down and out of this magnetic flux and all that, I walked out into the lounge. I wanted to break and turn the TV on, and his channel was there. And about 2 minutes later, he started mentioning the down and out and up and in, which is exactly what I was just working on in this physics lesson, but he was doing it in metaphysical, spiritual line of things. But it all connects. It all comes back to the same thing. Because Earth, the way the seasonal change of Earth is of the human mind and body, it's all connected. 2 hemispheres of the human brain, the 2 hemispheres of our flat Earth, the gap between them, the sun of Earth, you've got the pineal gland as the son of man, you've got the moon, which is the pituitary gland and all that. That's why man is of the earth and all that sort of thing. But I get more into that spiritual stuff on my Patreon page. I'm about to do one on this. No one in the world knows what this is. The Japanese have come up with an idea, but no, they're just in the physical world mindset. That's another sign, a symbol left for us. So you have to go on to Patreon to get that one.
Okay. Wanted to show this. So, well, I can't find it now. What did I just do with it? I'll show this real quick just so people can see. This is what they call the world's most famous mirror, but I'm trying to find the actual 360 photo first, and then we'll show you the mirror 360. Because it's crazy. This is I'd love to go to Rome. I've never been there, but come on, this one's gonna work. 360. All right.
I have, and I went into every church I could find.
Did you?
Even in the middle of weddings, they didn't mind me walking in.
They didn't mind?
No.
Okay, so this is the 360 view of this chapel here. I believe this is Church of San Ignacio, which is Ignatius, which is Jesuit, right? For those who think I don't talk about the Jesuits, as I've done many times. So when you look up at this, what if I told you that this is not a dome? This ceiling is flat. It is a flat ceiling, and it's just been painted to look like that is a dome. It's not dome at all. Can you imagine?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. And there's no dome over here that looks like a vestibule dome or something. It's not. And if you go to here, I'll show you this show where it shows you the mirror. What I just had it open here. Come on. Oh no, it was on this page, but just back. Oh come on, where did I go with that mirror? Okay, I have another tab. Hold on, I'll find the one for you. There's they place a mirror at the bottom.
The domes.
Go ahead.
The dome. You there?
Yeah, go ahead.
The domes all originate from this part of the movement of the sun. These are down and out. This is where the Jews get their Kappa caps or whatever they're called. Domes of churches, because this is it's not only the overall movement of the sun. This goes into that secret place I was telling you about, understanding this, and I get more into this in my spiritual stories.
Okay, just showing this real quick. I'll go back to you, but this is the mirror showing you. This mirror is on the ground. See here, and you.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that one.
Yeah, that's it, Saint Ignatius there. But it says here, have you visited Rome's famous mirror? This mirror allows visitors to take a closer look at one of Rome's best-kept secrets, a church ceiling that holds an incredible illusion. Just a few steps from the Pantheon, you'll find this stunning fresco that uses perspective illusionism. The painting you see here is nearly flat, not a dome. The ceiling appears to be a high and vaulted, but in reality the roof is flat. The dark circular area appears to be a cupola, but this too is a flat canvas, which uses anamorphic techniques and perspective effects to create fake architecture. Right, so if you watch it again, that thing there that we talk about, this looks like a vestibule or some sort of what do they call it? A cupola, but it's actually, this is all flat ceiling.
Yeah, so that's more divine information because, once you're enlightened, or you're partway there, you find the moon doesn't have craters, they're like blisters. And then I got some people interested and they started seeing it. So it's really hard to imagine. You're not, you think you're looking at a blister and the shadows and all that, but a flick of the old mind switch, and all of a sudden you're seeing blisters, and the dark spot is unmanifested moon. It's not illuminated yet, because where do all those craters and all that go to anyway when the moon is full? They will disappear. It's all alchemical. But when you see those blisters, you go, oh my goodness. And that's like the magic of the 3D projection from magnetism. When Ken Wheeler shows the magnet up here in the ferrocell, and he's holding a magnet up here, and all of a sudden you're looking down on there and there's all this depth when really there's just nothing there. All of a sudden there's all this illuminated depth inside there. It's all trickery. It's all magic from magnetism.
Okay, see if there's anything else. So let me get to the super chat, see if there's any there that I missed. All right, so we've got Clit Rub says, Jeranism, I owe you my enlightenment stage of my life to you, brother. Oh, all right, most clits would say the same thing. Oh, we got a super chat. Or
look at that tip. It is so big.
I like big tips in the camera.
Like
Thank you, somebody who donated on Ko-fi. Let me see what that is for. account. That's a problem. I'm on the wrong account. All right, let me see what you got there. We got a donation from Freight Train, $25. Thank you very much. It says, message, good show. Hard for people to grasp the stuff he's saying with no decent visuals. I get it, but it's very involved, and he needs help creating digital versions of the info. The whiteboard is limited. I would agree with you. Go ahead. We've got...
we go back to the creation story
Okay.
of the earth. So the two forces of nature came up, bang, bang, and created so you say North Pole or South Pole, or a weak force and a strong force, and bang, set that off. As soon as it went bang, hit the right frequency, just like solar luminescence, it formed this bubble. It's a dual system. And then you break it down like a magnet. So that's all probably still there within the earth. It probably comes way down like a pyramid underneath the earth. And it all begins at here, this flat plane. So then you get 7 elevations of atmospheric expansion. And then you have 7 layers of compression. Let's spell that. Don't know. Anyway, and then so this has become our created realm, and then it became a split cell. It split off. This is the story of the 2 Roman brothers, the creation of Rome. It's the same story, creation story. One brother ran the northern hemisphere, another guy ran the southern hemisphere. They separated. Heaps of mythological stories describing it. You just got to realize there's only one singularity, one singular place. Everything goes back to one. And this just split off into a duality, this dual world, and then it breaks down again. So you have the tropical gap, and then you have the roaring 40s, and then you can break it down to another mild form that's always reducing down, just like a magnet. So, and that's it. So everything comes out of this place of creation. But it's hidden from us. We don't see it. So, like the Bible says, all the stars and everything are for signs. So this place of creation back here is created here now in this tropical zone. So the tropical circle, that circle around here, is the circle of the ecliptic plane. So, and science tells us that's basically where the ecliptic plane is, right?
Right.
And then the center, the equinox, you got the sun, but it's a projection, so it'll move in and out because it's a projection from in here, and it's the flexing of this plane that sets the sun going that way or going back in. But at the end of the day, man only sees it on his individual arc of horizon, sees all this plastered in here. There's even physics that they're telling you that man is looking out from the center of the universe. He sees everything around him. He is from the center of the universe. He is the black hole. Everything comes back to him. You can imagine it like that. The black hole is the dead center. It's the dead center. It's just a flat plane, and it's all been stretched out into this 3D depth. At the end of the day, it's all from that 2D flat plane. All of creation. 0 point, flat plane. The sun's illuminated, all of a sudden, boom, creates this 3D reality that we all live in. So we all appeared overnight just like that. Or maybe a day or two, or an hour or two. Or
okay.
So when they say the egg come first or the chicken, it just all appeared because everything had the right frequency in God's image, and that's God. That's creation back in there. The sun held all the frequencies, all the right resonating frequencies for all living life on Earth. Everything that's in Earth is all hidden in that sun, all the frequencies. Everything's resonating frequencies. Yeah.
Right.
And everything's about finding balance, equilibrium. But like a magnetic field, if a North Pole and South Pole found equilibrium, and it would cease to exist. Everything would just go back to flat plane neutral. It's all the drama of getting there, trying to get there. And that's why all the actions around the black hole, all that friction created the sound which illuminated the sun, which now holds all the frequencies of life. It's all that friction that created the sun.
That was the most sense
in
you've
the middle
made.
is the black hole state of rest.
That was the most sense you've made the whole show. That part I got. Tell him Dave Weiss set up on his channel and duplicate it. Yeah, Dave just uses OBS. I wish Joan would call in. This is a great stream. Joan, do you want to come on? You can if you want. Or if anybody wants to jump on, you want to give people, if they want to come on and say something? That's why I'm so frustrated. He did step-by-step video that I remember after Jeranism, so I thought he was going to be concise second time. Okay, well, again, if you get it, and
I've been over all that. There's so much involved, and I've been over it a million times. I don't even know where to stop or start.
Right, I mean, go to his channel. You'll see so many videos. You can start there if you think there's something there. Has he seen Dan Winter's 7-color donut explaining the energy field? Seems to match his model. You Dan Winters, recognize that?
I don't.
Somebody loves your haircut.
You've got to understand the 7 layers of our atmosphere, or even beyond our atmosphere, and we're all down here. That's our arc of horizon. It's the light spectrum. You've got a planet on all these. They're the high points in the wave. The ecliptic plane wave, the sun in the center. These are planets. There's the planets. And they're inert gaseous layers. So each one of these planets represents an inert gaseous layer. On Earth, it's all physical. Up here, it's non-physical. You got the moon down here, and the sun's opposite. The sun up there, moon down here, and the planets all between. But the sun, in its journey over the month, crosses all the musical notes. It's the harmonic oscillator. There's other terms for it. But these are all like notes. It's all about music. Where did you get this big thing from? Something like that. Because it's the big S curve of creation. It's to do with that. And even all the terms, they name all these things. It all correlates with the whole flat earth design. It's all about music. And music is colour, creates colour. And these are just the focal points, the high points. You get whatever that sound is, and you get some that are in here. In between, the moon helps divide everything up and multiply everything or whatever. So it's understandable, and all the inert gaseous layers, and you're looking to the light spectrum to see the white light of the sun. You have to have all the light spectrum to see the white light of the sun. You could say you're seeing it here, but it's all made up of that light spectrum. So it all comes back to a focal point. So there's all the layers, all the light spectrum. You're seeing the sun. It's all on your arc of horizon. Not way up there in La La Land. Billions of miles away, millions of miles away.
Trillions of miles away.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see what else we got here. Did anybody want to come on? Jaren, has he? Oh, yeah, we read that one. Yeah, I thought so too. It's all right. We'll get there. Tell him to. Yeah, I could have read that one. Jaren just had to. What? Maybe the moon is what the sun looks like when its firelight is off. Maybe it's a burned out sun. I've heard that before. It's a very good idea. You ever thought about that?
It's the negative image of the sun.
It is a negative image of the sun.
They're just starting to talk about it now. That F curve, that vortex, understand the motion, how it pumps the heart. You'll find this work moves slower than the plane above, where the sun is just doing a circle. That moving is moving all this. He's the king. That's God, the Father. So you really go back to religion, you got the Father and you got the Son. The Son we see, S-O-N, is the S-O-N. It's the Son, there's the Father, the real one, the Son. In the, I can't remember.
Somebody wants to know,
Fisher King.
where did you first learn this, and how many experiments have you conducted? Somebody asked.
Experiments. I've done that fishbowl one. I don't know. I played around for years, and I've studied all this science, and it all just adds up and makes sense.
So before Flat Earth, before you found Flat Earth, you were trying to rationalize all this with a ball?
I didn't do much before that. I just discovered what they did on 9/11, and then started look. And then the next conspiracy popped up about Flat Earth, and I thought, well, shit! Now I know about 9/11. They're probably right about Flat Earth, so I decided to look into it. And sure enough, I came to this conclusion. They're probably right. So I needed to look into it. So if I'm going to argue with someone, I need to know how it works. So for the next 2 years or so, I spent all my time looking into it and found that they're right. Using their, Freemason science, it's all there. They can't debunk it, because when I break it all down and go to a specific spot, it matches their physics. But, all these dummies are all stuck in the box. They can't think outside their box. So you have to draw them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that so many people were educated by a system that it's the purpose of it is to reward basic indoctrination, to reward just accepting what you're told and not to look any deeper. And that's why essentially a lot of inventions and incredible thoughts have been stagnated. It's on purpose. Because
when you look into all the ancient, stories and known science, you find all the scientists in the last 100 years have just plagiarized other guys' information. They just give themselves Nobel Prizes. You research back and go, hey, no, they knew that hundreds of years ago. Or the ancients. Oh, what was the real funny one? The spaceships. You read some of the ancient Egyptian stories, and they used, it's obviously translated into English, and they got the word spaceship, and they got the same model as a spaceship we know, like this, and this bit here, and I know exactly what they're referring to. Well, how come they knew about spaceships and they knew the whole flat Earth system, all the physics, and we're supposed to be the bright ones and they were the dummies when they knew all this stuff thousands and thousands of years ago? They've used all the terminologies we use, like a plowshare, a pomegranate, a pruning hook, a spaceship, everything. It's all there. I can understand all that, the esoteric story, and I put it all together. And that's why I know I'm correct 100%, because I've got all their backing. It all makes sense if you bring it back to known physics today. So it's like Toon can argue as much as he like and try and make me look like an idiot. End of the day, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know I'm right.
Ask Lynn to demonstrate how a constellation in the south is just a reflection of the north. Just one example, please. 32nd degree Freemason here.
That's the crux and the pointers and the small dipper in the north. Or how I found that first by filming star trails looking at the celestial equator. You see the gap at the right time of the year. You've got the two fields have divided like this. And you've got Orion's belt as a reference because it's in the gap, because it goes straight through. It does not curve around with the other stars. So you use that as a reference point. And you check out, take a lot of star trails and get an idea of what's going on. And then you find, use another. Then you find this star is this one in the north, and this one in the north is this one in the south. And they cross through Orion's belt. They're the same. And this is more widely dispersed because it's a 3-to-2 ratio. The southern hemisphere is spread out more. So it's a wonky sort of cross, sort of like that. It's one of the divine crosses, but there's three. Just like Polaris is a 3-star system. There's the Sun, Venus, and Mercury. And then when they go to south to Sigma Octant, it's only one, because they're not looking for the star that's been stretched out here and here. A lot of flat earthers don't even know that this Polaris is doing a circle around the black hole. And it does a circle. It's circling the black hole because it's from down inside the vortex here. There's Polaris moving around there at night. We're looking up at the stars. All the stars are in.
Is the black hole at the Earth level or under it or above
it? Well, you can imagine it's above it, but the black hole is basically all the way down the Milky Way.
So it's okay.
All the way down the Milky Way, because it's been projected into our realm, but it's originally from the flat plane. It's just a flat plane of nothingness, stillness. Like when you're dead, you'll monitor flat lines. But because of this projection, illumination from the sun, you could say that's the black hole, and it goes over here to the other end of the Milky Way. The black hole is all the way through there, you could say, but really it all collapses back to nothing. So the black hole is just a flat plane. It's the center of a flat plane. So, you got physics drawing them all out like this. It's sort of right too if you want to create the vortex, the illuminated part. And they draw this picture, but it all comes from that flat plane there. The sun has illuminated our whole realm. So it all goes back to nothing.
So where does the light come from the sun? Does it come from the main sun or the...
From the main sun. The main sun's there, and it sends the image out to the end of the Milky Way. There's the image. But the energy has been created here, fed back in to the real sun, and then the real sun sends back a signal, an image for you to see on your TV. That's your TV screen. So that sun is at the end of the Milky Way. But out in our realm, we don't see it like that. That's how it's been created in physics. In our realm at night, that's the Milky Way. The sun is facing the other way, the other side. And that's the female end, and that's the male end of the Milky Way. We see the whole thing, because that comes down here to the Arctic Circle. So we see this whole field here, with the sun there, over here in our night sky. That's why the Aborigines depicted as an emu, because the legs come down onto the horizon, and that's his, and the head is in the north, head's aiming towards the north, and the body is where the back of the sun is. Sun's going down. Sigma Octantis, eh? Sagittarius A. Sagittarius A is the back of the sun. It's that way, because we're looking at the night sky this way. The sun's shooting out that way. The sun is tucked into the Milky Way. Christ, the manger, tucked in the manger, a long trough. What's the manger? What's all the straw? Well, what does the Milky Way look like? Tucked full of straw.
What would you say to somebody who says that if something is true, it would be simple to explain?
No. In religion, Jesus said, you don't understand earthly things. How can you understand godly things? Pretty basic. People aren't awake to it. That's the meaning of life. If you knew all the answers at the beginning, what are you doing here? You wouldn't be in this dumb realm. This is a dumbed down conscious state.
You think this is like a
punishment? Just to get up.
You think it's a punishment to come here?
Yeah. Well, it's a journey. That's why they call that heaven. Hell, this is your lower state of consciousness down here. You've got to raise yourself consciously, just like the water's been purified all the way up through the tropics. To be purified, to be enlightened into the sun, you consciously have to rise yourself to reach illuminate your pineal gland.
I'm over here just at Lost Land looking at all these churches in Rome. I can't. I'm like looking at it, just amazed that there's no way these were built when they say 1600s, 1500s. Just I'm like, you know, just like shocked.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if there's any last one. Oh, Jaren, question. We saw that one. Okay. Any other ones? I think that's it. Deep mysteries. There's where we live in. Origin sounding kind of gay. All right. Good. Well, if you guys want him put something in the description, or I mean, in the comments, and let me know if you want to have him explain it again. But check out his channel. The link is in the description. Go ahead, tell people where they can find you and how they can sign up for your Patreon if they are interested in more.
Well, just search out Tomb of capital L dash Lumination. Or sometimes, I don't know if you can, the north, it was at Meta 369. Whatever that call sign for your
yes,
yeah,
YouTube channel.
Yeah. Or I think it might be at Lindsay Harris for Facebook. But, yeah, just research your own physics. I mean, they've got all the physics. They know everything. It's just putting it in a different picture. Don't follow their little, you get outside their little box where all the dumb globies are. I know physics. You don't know physics. No, you take your physics and bring them over here, buddy.
What's weird about those guys is they are the equivalent of, they love to tell the story of Galileo and Copernicus, and what they're doing is they're pretending to be the people who have all the knowledge, and they're saying anything coming from outside this cannot be true because we already know the truth, which is exactly what they talk about with Ptolemy and those guys. And then they're like, oh, Copernicus came and he changed science, and it's like they're okay with that story, but now they feel like they live in the time where we know all the answers, and if it's not in a physics book, that it cannot be true. And I think that's just retardation. Just really is. If you think we have all the answers now, look with dark matter and dark energy, and we know the distance to the stars and everything. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, and everything that happened with those distances came because of the fact that it didn't work otherwise. I mean, Tycho Brahe's model worked best, and because otherwise he was like, well, what are you saying? That the stars would have to be hundreds of times as big as the sun. That's impossible. Well, then they just adopted that. Oh, they are 100 times bigger than the sun. So now we've got this incredible distances and sizes, and Globers love to go around and be like, oh, you guys are just afraid of big numbers. It's like, no, everybody in the world knew that that's ridiculous. You just adopted it because you've been taught it and you think it's true. But it's insane. It's insane to think that the star, the closest star to us, is 25 trillion miles away. You're insane if you believe that. To me.
Well, it all comes about because you can't detect the position of a star because the hologram from two different locations. Everything is all on your arc of horizon, all seen back to the observer at 90 degrees. So if this guy's looking at a star and this guy's looking at a star, to get that lining up, they have to go for billions of miles.
Yeah, and they just
don't meet.
It doesn't work anyway because they both have to look 89.99999 degrees.
Yeah. And it all depends on latitude. And you're in your circle. Where are you latitude-wise and longitude? This guy's over here. There's no way you can get them marrying in when they're a holographic projection. That's why they have to give you billions of miles away. It's rubbish.
All right, and after this show, I just want to come back. I'll probably do another show right now, just because I have to talk about this. I'm just looking at all these crazy. I found a good site that's showing me all this stuff. So let's come back and we'll do this, just because I wanted to see all this stuff and look at the years these things were built. 1600, 1500. What are you talking about? How could they have built this in 1600 with no electric power tools? What do they use? Screwdrivers? And I mean, how is this built in 1600? How do people believe this? Look at this thing. Incredible.
Well, you sort of get an understanding if you realize nothing is actually physical. You can go to bed and wake up and be at a new set, a new movie, a new storyline. And this is what happens.
We're just living in the middle of a lengthy one.
It could restart every day. I mean, the Egyptians say that the rising sun is a new.
Yeah, but
new
everyone who's here now would all agree that we've been here since we were children, and we've lived every day, right? So I don't know what you mean by that when you said we could wake up in a new day. You mean when we die?
No, each morning. A new storyline, like the drama might have changed, but we carry it on. And this is why in the religious story it says, don't turn back. You can't turn back and think of all that evil, the crappy stuff you used to know. They want you to drop it all. You've got to move into this new realm where your conscious state is focused that way now, not on that crap over there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all consciousness. It's pretty hard to understand, but nothing's actually physical. When you understand that everything expands as you move south, the plane you're on, everything, trees, mountains.
Yeah, but I guess I just have a problem when you say that. Nothing's physical, but everything is physical. I can pick this up. You're saying I don't pick it up, the physical item?
Yeah. In our realm, everything is perceived as physical, but that's all due to magnetism, because the atoms in your body is all positive, negative stuff, all organized to repel another object, but it's all due to magnetism. It's the way everything's aligned.
Yeah, it seems like it holds everything together.
The magnet. Remember the atom. Let's say an atom looked like that. Well, you've got to think of it all. It all breaks down to another one inside it.
Atoms,
and it's which way they're aligned and all that. That's why we're chipped to think everything's physical, but touch the 5 senses.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is of the atom, atomism. An atom is a jewel, remember? It's male and female. The sun is hermaphrodite. The sun is male and female. Adam, which is Adam, the male and female, wanted a partner. So Adam's up here on the 2D plane. So what does he do? Separate the female out, and all of a sudden, boom, he's got the moon down here, the female. And there's the male. And the story's all about coming back to singularity, back to the sun every month. The moon comes back into singularity, the one every month. And then wanders up, the sun races ahead, leaves it behind, then catches up again. They're always coming back together, going like this all the time.
Kevin Fay says, Jaron, do you think he's explained the 24-hour, 360-degree sun in the Antarctic? No, I wouldn't say that it's been explained any better than if let's say I went down, for example, and saw the sun in Antarctica. I mean, I wouldn't say, oh, Lindsay explains it better than the globe does. But that's because I haven't looked into it enough. I haven't studied it enough to truly understand it. Because I don't understand like the North popping out, popping in. That part I need to follow up a little bit more. Yeah, that video, the name of the one that you did a year ago that's really good is called what? It's called, I think Joan gave
24-hour sun, isn't it?
Let me look up what Joan actually named it here. I just want to get that name right. She said it's called The Story They Never Wanted You to Know. Flat Earth is the title of Lindsay's video describing his model step by step. The Story They Never Wanted You to Know, Flat Earth. It's a good step-by-step starter video, but there is so much more to Lindsay's model, FYI. Upside Down Guy says, hat equals bald. I'm not bald. So if you can't see that there's hair, I just cut it because I don't want to worry about my hair every day. So it's easier to shave it once a week.
It's a matter of understanding your arc of horizon. You only see so far. Yeah, go to your horizon. Science tells you it's only 5K out. So that's as far as you see.
Let me ask you this. I'll give you a scenario and you tell me how it works. So if somebody goes down to Antarctica and you're saying there's a 24-hour sun, which means at midnight for the person in Antarctica, the sun's going to be directly behind them if they're facing north, right? But at the same time, it has to be above Australia. So explain to me how could the sun be in two opposite directions at the same time?
So there's the magnetic field flux of the center north. They call the spider web in celestial navigation.
Okay.
Let's say the sun is there at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Hold on,
It'll be all the way around there.
Hold on, can you show us, draw Antarctica, draw the United States, can you draw like a...
Antarctica is all around. Okay.
Just kind of draw it so we kind of get our place where we're at.
Okay. We've got Antarctica all the way around there.
Okay.
I'll draw the center north a bit bigger.
Okay.
And there's the tropics. Tropical gap. So
Hold on. You said there's the tropics. Draw both of them just so we can follow along. Thank you, upside down guy.
tropics all the way around there. That's the one place on Earth there's no declination. You get a direct compass bearing straight towards the north here. Even though it's the south and that's the south, and this is the north and that's the north.
Hold on, but declination changes along the tropics. If you're in...
Not between the tropics. No, this is where your compass bearing is dead straight, a dead north to south. The science tells you that. Because what happens, your compass will be find this S, but it will still point to the strong force, which is here. This is a weak force, strong force. So one end will be pointing to the north, one will be towards the south.
Okay.
So get rid of that now, go back. So everything spirals out of the north for you, northern hemispheres. Northern hemisphere people. So let's say you're here and the sun is anywhere on that line, on that curve at 9 a.m. Say 9 a.m. Well, mirror that across. That curve goes like this. So you spiraled out of the north, this guy spiraled out of the south. Goes like that. And there's the bridging, there's the crossing, direct line. That gives you the bow look of the old ancients used to draw.
So now let's draw a person out in Antarctica. Just draw them.
So hang on.
Okay.
So here we go. 9 a.m. Sun's coming around. So that means there's east. So there's 9 a.m. The sun's coming around at 9 a.m. And you're in Antarctica. So, but what's happened is this field has moved all the way up to the December solstice. So you could say you're standing here.
Okay.
There's your circle. Because that sun doing a circle back there, the real one.
Okay, so show me where the sun would be at midnight for that person out that you just drew.
Midnight, the sun's facing that way.
Right.
Midnight, you have to face south.
So
but that's north anyway, so it's confusing. So you've got to understand your compasses when you go down. You don't get lost. Otherwise, you'll be thinking you're looking that way south, but no. You should take a dip compass.
Okay.
Oh no, that'll only tell you where it's going down.
So you're right about the sun being on the other side. I kind of get that, but so then it's being projected above Australia. Draw Australia across the map from you. It would be on the other side.
Okay, it's Australia's here.
No. Put it all the way on the other side of the map. Pretend like that guy in Antarctica that you drew is below South America.
No, but you're down in McMurdo Sound, so Australia will be here.
No. The place that they're going is called Glacier Station. Or Glacier Park. It's below South America, so it's completely opposite of Australia. Not next to it.
This is east. This is west. So that's Australia there.
No, Australia is across from South America. Draw where South America is.
Okay, we'll draw South America.
Okay.
Well, I've drawn it here, so it should be here.
Yeah, there you go. Draw where it is there. Okay, so that's South America. So Australia is all the way on the other side. No, not there.
On the flat map.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, over there.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Okay, so now when it's midnight for the person in Antarctica, if he has a sun behind him, but it's also above Australia, right?
Okay. Well, at this time of the year, the sun is all the way around Antarctica, but it's moved right out here for that guy.
Yeah.
But here, it still all comes back to here like this. So to the expansion, it depends on where you are on latitude. Your image of the sun, it's all on the same magnetic field line. It just expands out like this. So you're standing here, but someone else could be way around here.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have the same. There's his image because it all comes from the center. Smaller, 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 like that.
So you're saying that the sun in the middle can project itself anywhere at any time?
Yeah, because it's all about magnetism. Don't think of the sun as a physical object.
Okay, but does the sun
It's
bring?
magnetism.
So you're saying the sun
It's
doesn't bring
magnetic
heat?
induction.
Doesn't bring heat or light, or it does?
It creates heat at that particular spot where the sun is right there, because you're right
Okay.
between where the magnetic fields are meeting the electrical.
What about light?
Yeah, it illuminates all the electromagnetic realm, doesn't it? It illuminates it.
Well, then why isn't everywhere sunny at all times? What causes darkness?
It is sunny all the way around here. And
Okay, what about
December solstice.
so now draw where somebody would be in Africa. Africa, say in northern Africa. Why does it get dark for them?
Is Africa way around here?
No, I'm saying why would it get dark for somebody in Africa if you're saying that everybody along the latitude line sees the sun?
Yeah, it wouldn't be dark in South Africa. If you're out here at the bottom of South Africa, it's just as illuminated as here or there.
See, so when does it get dark for Australia? That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Where is Australia?
Over there on the left. So why does it why does it get dark there?
Well, when it gets dark, obviously the sun's pointing this way. Hang on.
See, that's where I'm getting confused. Is that because it's
Yeah,
almost like
okay,
the
well,
sun has a mind and that it chooses when to shine at certain places, rather than it being some sort of a determinable model. It would just be kind of on a whim. That's what
you got to understand both systems. You got to understand the clock, but at the same time where the magnetic field flux is, where all the energy is, and it's all gone down and out.
Okay, I get that.
So,
but that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me as long as the sun still only lights half of the Earth or around that much. But you're saying that
hang on a second.
somehow
Let me
goes.
think.
I guess my question, another question would be, why doesn't the sun just circle somebody in New Zealand where you're at? For instance, something causes it to set for you, but why wouldn't it set for somebody in Antarctica?
Okay, so the sun comes around here. We get it in the morning, disappears in the afternoon. So why are we getting?
Wait, hold on. What did you say that again?
The sun's coming from the east.
Okay.
There's the west.
Where are you?
Let's say New Zealand's there. Let's say New Zealand's there.
Okay.
We're not getting the sun all day long, so
you lose it because it gets too far away, right? It heads over towards Australia, then it leaves Australia, it's going towards Africa, and that's when you lose it. So
it's like the clock arm all the way around here.
Right. So why would somebody at the end of the clock arm have a sun that goes around them, but somebody on the clock arm would not?
Yeah. Yes, David.
Might not make sense.
Now I get where you're coming from. I can get that sort of in my mind and have it organised. See, if I know what I'm going to be asked,
okay, that's good.
I can organise that.
That's good. Do that kind of thought process. Which is my problem with it is, if it seems to me that you're saying, okay, let's go clock arm. The clock arm's moving the sun, and the sun arm is moving around the Earth. Okay, great. So then, why would it be somebody at the very end of the clock arm sees a sun doing a 360 around them, but along the clock arm, those people actually see night and day?
Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
The clock is coming out of there, and look, it's not much happening there. It's getting all bulging out here, so it's getting more light. It's just the way the magnetic field is bulged out. But I can rearrange that so it might make a bit more sense next time.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry, I have the wrong view on the whole time. My bad, guys. I did not know that was still on. Anyway, they could still see you. It just they couldn't see me.
But you just got to imagine all this outer field here is all out here, this bulgy part of the magnetic field. And you're getting more illumination out here now.
Yeah, the illumination makes sense. I mean, I believe in a 24-hour light. I don't believe in a 24-hour sun because I don't have any mechanism to why the sun would be going around somebody in the south, but not along the hour hand of the clock, like you would say.
Well, it's because it's this movement between the two fields that the sun is moving within here. So as this pulls apart, the sun moves further back up that way.
Right.
Oh, as it's yeah. As it's moving back in, I should say,
Right.
going back up that way. But as it's pulled apart, the pressure's going down. The sun's going to move that way.
Okay.
So the field is going to be stretched back up into the north and back down. But I can try and
draw that out just as an idea, just how it would happen at the end of the clock hand versus because the inside of the clock hand also sees the sun go around them. When the sun gets up the clock hand towards the north, they see it go around. So I guess I don't see where it disappears from going around people throughout the clock hand, but then at the very end, we say it does the same thing again.
Yeah. So it must be down about the 65-degree mark where they don't want you going beyond.
That's exactly where it begins, supposedly.
Is where you start realizing, shit, there's two suns.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you know the sun's going around up here. How the hell can it be going around down here?
Right. Okay. That's good. I'm glad you covered that part. That's the part that
But
confuses
it's
me.
moved right out down there because of this flux in the magnetic field, the flux. If you've got the big 2-to-3 ratio, and the flux just becomes a lot bigger as you so you go like this, you draw it out, it's sort of like that.
Almost like a figure eight then.
But a big bulgy like the sun in a lemon. But it's
Right.
pretty hard to draw, I think, if you haven't got 3D graphics.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to
I wish
jump
I had
from
3D graphics. If anybody wants to become mine and Leslie's 3D graphic maker, let's do that. I need one. But no, I appreciate you being on, and we will talk again, and hopefully somebody can do a little better job of explaining it, maybe, or you can, or they'll make a channel and help you out. That'd be great. Let me make sure there's more.
This here, they showed it quite well on that Epicore. Is it Epicore? The sun motions over the year.
Yeah,
3D?
I think Steve did a good job of showing that, and then adding atmosphere and showing that it looks identical to what we see. See if there's anybody else. All right, that's great. Thank you very much to Upside Down Guy for giving 5 memberships. I wish you had drank more, because usually when you drink more, you give more memberships away. So should have done that. All right, we will be back. I'm going to just do a short video here in a second. I just want to kind of look at some of this map stuff. I still cannot find that damn angel holding the mirror. I need to find that. People know how I am. If I think of something and I remember seeing it, I'll go hours and not until I find
Search out
it.
the Prague clock. He's holding a mirror as well.
Let me check that out too. I'm going to write that down. Okay, thank you. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Tomorrow we've got the Jeranism show, and we've got crypto class at 6 p.m. So definitely check that out. If you want to become a VIP, go to whop.com/Jeranism. We did find out that Don DeSalt is going to be our guest on Saturday the 20th. Go ahead. I saw you doing some sort of fist pump there. All right, final words, Leslie, for everybody.
Well, if you want me back, I can't do it for a couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, yeah, try and explain that one way, and just let me know on Facebook when you do have it, and then I'll have you back.
But research your known physics. Look into the heart, the vortex heart, what's making the heart pump, how and why it's pumping, and
Or not pumping.
Quadrant, octantis, understand parabolic mirrors, what's happening to the image cast back to you, understand the moisture in the atmosphere. It's acting as a screen with a black backdrop, showing you all the light images in the night, just like I've shown you in that fish bowl. It all makes sense. Understand the dual system.
And why is
The conjoined cell
Octantis
separates.
quadrant? I remember you reading that, but I'm just thinking now, isn't Oct 8?
Yeah, that's right. So look into that.
Okay.
It's a analogy of 4, if you look it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 8 is basically the 4 quadrants of the Earth for celestial navigation. You need the 4 cardinal directions in the northern hemisphere. You need the 4 cardinal directions in the southern hemisphere, which all boils down to your arc of horizon, where you are.
Gotcha.
To get your bearings and readings.
All right, guys, we'll see you in a little bit. Reminder,
Okay,
do your own
thanks.
research. When you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace. Thanks, Leslie.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. It was nice just hanging out. Now go and hit the bell. Share it with the homies so that they could grow as well. They missing out. Jaren leaves no doubt. if you know what we bout. It's never for the clout, don't fuck around. Hey, not for the clout, that's too cap, we calling them out. Balls get flat when you cover the route. Jeranism, all in your mouth. Truth gets lost like all in the couch, but it's time to get up and make them get out. Uncover the route. Jeranism, we are the crown. Telecasting worldwide, check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies. Telecasting worldwide, check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies.
Who this be? What he about? You say spinning, he said out. About flat earth, it's flat out. He's still standing when you passed out. Globers pound, scream and shout. He can turn you inside out. Yeah, surface deep, he's felt throughout. And he stayed grounded, you spaced out.
We gotta run nowhere when we come fact check your facts and match your data. Concept is too abstract, what matters? Try to tune in, but the note get flatter. Tell me I'm flattered. Flatter than pancake batter, now we landed. Jeranism, I'm your captain. Speaking, telecasting worldwide. Check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies. Telecasting worldwide. Check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies. You know equations to the things you make the symbols for, but ain't really explaining what the symbols for. They try to teach you things against the things we taught before. No point in arguing now, they don't wanna talk no more. Okay, got a bite of the truth and now it's certain. That's what life look like when your mind is certain. Okay, got a bite of the truth and now it's certain. That's what life look like when your mind is certain. Thanks to the east side, thanks to the west side, thanks to the north side, way down to the south side. Thanks to the east side, thanks to the west side, big ups to the north side, way down to the south side. Telecasting worldwide, check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies. Telecasting worldwide, check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies. Telecasting worldwide, check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies. Telecasting worldwide, check the globe is falsified. Space is spinning DFI, all just scientism lies.